Hi, welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, and today I have a very special guest. This is a guy that he reached out to me before Joe Fest. We met at Joe Fest for a very, very short bit, very brief meeting, and took a couple pictures, I think. But he is from Canada, and he drove in and he said, "Hey, I'm going to be coming shooting through there, stopping at Sergeant Red's. Would I love to you get together, go out to lunch." And we had a nice long talk, hung out. He was supposed to let me know when he came back into Michigan. He never did, and I told him that's fine. That I didn't have to figure out an excuse of not to hang out. And he's the one guy that I had to postpone because I wasn't feeling well a couple weeks ago. But anyway, enough of why it's taken so long to get this guy on here. My special guest, Rad Toyz Galaxy. How are you doing?
Good, man. I knew you were gonna get me in, rightfully deserved. I should have let you know when I was coming back through Michigan. It was one of those things where it was just like so burned out after the trip. I was just like, I'll just slide through, man. I'll message him when I get home, and then I never did. And then you called me out on it. But you got
Oh, dude, believe me,
me. Next time it's true, man. Next time it's true. But yeah, I'm planning. As soon as the stupid snow is gone, man, I'll be like heading to Michigan quite often.
I mean, to me, it's not like you were coming in from California or Oklahoma, where like, I mean, you come up. I mean, you come down here, not up here. You come down here. It sounds quite often, so not that big. Again, not that big of a deal.
Oh, dude, you're only like I think you're only like you're barely 2 hours from my house.
Yeah, I'm
You're like
15
so
minutes from
close, man.
Sergeant Red's.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah. Well,
20 if
even
traffic's bad.
yeah, well, you're only I think you're like maybe 20 minutes from the border, or like where we met at Sergeant Red was only it was barely half an hour to the border. Just the
Did you go through Port Huron or
yeah, like the I go through the blue water, so
yeah?
it's
So
like
Port Huron is maybe, man, I never get on the expressway. About 40 minutes.
yeah, I knew
Yeah,
it was
maybe.
some. It was under an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I mean, when you're younger and we used to go to Sarnia Skate Park, it seems like it's so much longer when your parents are driving you or you're going with five or six buddies or two carloads of people. It seems a lot longer.
Oh, dude, that was probably back when you could like just go over the border. Like, yeah, just come on in and do that. Okay.
It's funny. We've been watching 90210 as people.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So my daughter and I have been watching 90210, and it was funny because we just watched the episode where Brenda and Dylan are coming over the Mexican border, and she doesn't have a driver's license, doesn't have a birth certificate, and Olivia, she's going to be 17, and she's like, uh, "Would you need that?" I was like, "Well, I'm like." Every time we went to Canada, we always had our birth certificate. Like you
Yeah.
made sure, but it's not like it is today. Now I have an enhanced license. I haven't gone to Canada in probably 20 years, maybe even longer than that. So
Oh,
I've
okay.
been going
Yeah.
across the border.
Yeah. I had an enhanced license, but then I had to renew it, so they decided to discontinue it. So then I had to get a passport, and I think I barely got it in time because I my buddy Zilla there, the co-host of World Makers Consortium, was one of the groomsmen in his wedding. So like we barely got our passports, like maybe like a week before we were supposed to leave for his wedding. So that was like pretty tight. But I don't have any problems, man. Actually, the American guards are hilarious. When we went to Joe Fest, we're going over, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing coming over?" I was like, "Oh, we're going down to a GI Joe convention in Augusta, Georgia." And he looks at the other guard. He's like, "Hey, do you know anything about a GI Joe convention in Georgia?" And the other guard yells over. He's like, "Oh, I don't know. That sounds pretty nerdy."
I
And I was
remember you
like,
telling me.
"Yeah, yeah." And then they were obsessed with like they thought I was coming over the border to buy rare Hot Wheels and bring them back or something. I was like, yeah, and I was like, dude, I haven't been into Hot Wheels since I was like to 8 years old. And he's like, well, you're into GI Joe, and I'm like, hey, you got me. Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
It's two different categories, but
Yeah,
same nerdum in many ways.
yeah.
I don't know of any GI Joe fan or any toy collector that sits in front of a rack and just pulls everything off and goes through every single
Oh,
action figure like the Hot Wheels guys do. Hot Wheel
oh, yeah.
guys and I think Hot Wheel guys and the Pokemon guys, those are probably the closest.
Oh, those Hot Wheel guys, man. Yeah, you see them at Walmart and stuff. Just like they will check every single peg all the way to the back,
Yep.
just in case the MacGyver Jeep is there or something. I don't know. After. I actually bought that one. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This is the 1985 or '84 Jeep Wrangler." Right on.
But it's great to have you on. And I know I told again, I was sick. Again, I missed Monday night. I made it for the Circle of Jerks for like the last half hour, but that's
Yeah, I watched.
because I had just got done taking a shower, and I had that moment where you know what, I can sit down, I can do this, and I have. If I need to bolt, I can bolt because I'm not the guy. Like there's other people on there, but you were like, oh no, it actually works out for me because I just busted my nose playing a gig or something.
No, no, no. Well, I don't know if I should say it because probably people put two and two together. But my like wife accidentally kneed me in the nose. Yeah, dude, it was brutal, dude. I thought it was broken. It like puffed up like all red. And then today too, I was at work and I'm like, okay, I got Punk with Toys tonight, right on. All of a sudden, like about noon, just got congested and my nose started running. So I'm like, okay, I got Tylenol. I was like, this is like, you got to get through this curse. I'm gonna make it. I swear I'm gonna make it to the show. So here I am. But oh yeah,
Well,
it just yeah,
I'm glad you were able to make it. Let's head to the chat really quick. We got
absolutely.
more Mudhorn Station jumping in here. We got Patrick Stalko. We got Fatrid, who I haven't seen around, I don't feel, in quite some time, but it's great to see you back here. We got Same Time Toys, Lunchbox Killer, Paul Morales, and Menhuza. So I'm sure we'll have more people strolling in as we come. Hopefully, you bring in some of your crowd. But anyway, let's ask the question: where does Rad Toyz Galaxy come from?
Rad Toyz Galaxy. Okay, so my original like handle was Nelson Rad Toys, and then I was like wanting to go more. I wasn't feeling the name for like a long. This is when I was first starting YouTube, so I did that, and then all of a sudden, Toy Galaxy changed to Secret Galaxy, and that was
Yeah.
why I didn't want to do the Rad Toys Galaxy thing. But then he changed his channel name, so I just jumped on it. I was like, okay, I'll do the Rad Toys Galaxy thing now, and it's just kind of stuck. So that's where it
Okay.
is. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even think about the whole Toy Galaxy. That
yeah, it was
finished
just
the
too
hamper on.
close. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I had this guy. There's in Hamilton, Ontario. There's a show or a store called Rad Toys, and they do remote control vehicles. So
Okay.
every time I talk, like there's Bounty Hunter Toys and Retrosaurus in Hamilton, Ontario. So when I try and get a hold of them or get them to hold something, they think I'm the guy that owns this remote control shop like down the road. And I'm like, no, no, just a different guy. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, so we got Action Figs jumping in here. One of my moderators. We have Viper Scout, who I would
So
assume probably watches a lot of your stuff. He does a lot of the 118 stuff,
okay.
which I know you guys do a lot of because a lot of world building. You do a lot of.
Oh,
I
I
know
do.
you do both.
Like even behind me right now, like directly behind me is my Fallout diorama, and then on this side, whatever is that's my classified diorama, and then my
I
table's always covered with paint and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you and Toy Domination. I've been like your stuff pops up, and I'm like, it's like it's giving me inspiration, but at the same time, I'm like, I only have so much room.
Yeah, I
So
lucked out, man. It's actually this used to be a finished. Like I'm living in my childhood home. I bought it off my dad. So this used to be all bedrooms down here with separate rooms. Then I had a really bad flood, so I had to gut the basement because my insurance didn't cover groundwater. But
oh wow.
yeah, so I had to gut it. So it opened up like this huge space. So I just moved my collection down here, and it was way too much space, and it's been trouble ever since. So
Well, I mean, again, space isn't any of our friends when we're collectors. But I know again, we're going to get into how you collect. 'Cause I know you have no problem selling stuff off. I'm someone who I don't really get rid of stuff because I buy it. I remember having a nice talk. We talked about this, so we'll get into that later
yeah,
on. But
yeah, we'll get into that.
how old are you exactly, or what age range?
So yeah, I'm closer to 50 than I am 40. So I was 47 last year. So I'm like, yeah, born in 78. So I'm a what you would call, I guess, the late 80s, early 90s kid. Like I remember GI Joe, but my first GI Joes were like Tiger Force and stuff like that, like the later releases,
Okay.
and they were already at like clearance places when I was getting into GI Joe because I remember my first GI Joe was Tiger Force Lifeline, And
Oh
then
wow.
after that, and then I would find stuff at thrift, and as a kid, like, because everybody just got rid of their toys back then. And then, but my main jam when I was a kid was Masters of the Universe, and like Ninja Turtles was huge, like absolutely huge.
Well, remember this: you are almost 50 till 54. Unfortunately, once you hit 55, then you're almost 60.
Yeah, yeah, that's the bad part, but
That's what I always tell people. That's what I always tell people. They're like, "Oh, I'm like," when they'll be like, "Oh, I'm like 42." I'm like, "So you're almost 40." Like, tell people that. Like, I'm almost 40.
yeah, I'm
It works. It's not a lie. That's how we round. Unfortunately, if you do that, once you hit 45 or 55, then you have to start rounding up.
yeah,
So
sadly.
what was your family like life? Like, where did you grow up? What was your family like life? Were your parents together? Did you have siblings?
Yeah, so I guess I kind of lived like that postcard sort of childhood. Like I grew up on, well, it's still next door. My dad lives next door to me. He's still on the original like dairy farm. So I grew up as a farm kid, like
Okay.
helping milk cows, working for the neighbors, like all that kind of crazy stuff. And then yeah, things were pretty good. Like I think like I always kind of never really saw eye to eye with my mom, but I think things got better when I moved out. And like it's like me and my dad butted heads a bit, but when I moved out, like it's that whole relationship changed where then I would come and visit after I'd moved out. And he'd like, we'd drink beers and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe it's just kind of a rite of passage when you have to like get out of the house. But
So
I was out pretty early. I was out by the time I was 16, like, and me and my buddies, like, I was in like pretty serious bands when I was younger. So we're playing like shows every weekend. We're all like, five guys living in a 2-bedroom apartment in a small town kind of thing. Like, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
all right, so and I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but you said
Yeah.
you're living in your childhood home,
Yep.
but
Yep.
your dad lives next door to you. So it sounds like you're on probably a big, large property or
Yeah.
larger
So I've
property. Okay.
got like, so just a like brief history. So my father bought the farm off my grandfather, or whatever they did, and then the house that I'm living, it was originally a bungalow, and that's where he moved, but he didn't live here very long before he passed away. So
Okay.
until I was old enough, my parents kind of rented it out, and then when I was like probably in my late 20s kind of thing, then we like worked out this deal, to get the house or whatever, make more like do mortgage payments, that kind of shit. So yeah, so I ended up here, but like I don't want to. This part's a little bit depressing, I guess. So when I moved out, I moved into the big old farmhouse next door, and like by this time he had been done milking cows, like sold all that stuff, just renting the land out. So after that, him and my mom, I put a log cabin addition on the house that I'm in right now, and had
Okay.
it done up for their retirement home. And then sadly, about 8 years ago, my mom passed away. So my dad didn't really feel the need to like be in a larger family home. So I took this place over. He went back to the farmhouse, split it. My sister moved in, and yeah, he just built himself a little like 30 by 30 like grandpa retirement shack up there.
Oh
So
wow.
it's all done up. So yeah, all the pretty much all the kids are living back at home now. Like whether it's here, like between the farm and here. So
That's
pretty
it.
cool.
That is. A close knit community, and it's pretty cool. Especially like if you're not all like living in the exact same house. I feel like that would be awful. Like,
Oh, dude, no, I could not live with my siblings again. Like even right now, my brother and sister have the farmhouse split into two apartments, and then my other sister, who's very close in age to me, a little bit younger, bought like this big fancy mobile home, and she's set up like out behind the driving shed with this like mobile home because she's just a perpetual. She's gonna be single forever. Like she's one of
oh,
those people that went through like that bad divorce and doesn't want anything to do with any kind of
I don't know
relationship.
what you're talking about. I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no idea.
11, 11 years for me. I think
Yeah.
11, maybe I don't know. It's been over a decade. I know that. Quickly, Commander Wolf saying adulting kind of sucks. I agree. I'll be 49 in a few weeks. We got Krusty Old Crow jumping in here saying Rad Toys. Hello, Punk with chat. What's good? Um, that's another Canadian. So,
Yeah, very
so
cool.
so what were your siblings like? How close in age were they? And so did you have built-in play friends? I guess living on that, living on a farm.
No, well, actually, it was I kind of like when I always had like the neighbor kids, or I have like I obviously went to school and stuff, so I had my friends from school. We used to go to this little like hamlet or whatever called Sebringville near here. And
Okay.
that's where then I could like as like I had a skateboard and all that stuff at that age, but I'm living on a farm with like gravel pathways. So like most weekends I would go to this little town, hang out, and my one buddy Pete, he was like his dad was like owned a plumbing business, his mom was a teacher. Dude, he had like every fucking GI Joe, like everything like all
Okay.
set up down in the basement, like had like these big bases. Like his dad would make him big wood castles and crap for his GI Joe and shit like that. So I guess that's like some world building going on there. But yeah, no, he's one of my buddies, and then we like skateboard around town, and like there's this river, the Thames River, and we would like play army or whatever, jump in a raft. And I remember one time we jumped in this raft, ended up like, I mean, like 3 hours away. Like we didn't even know where we were. And in those days, we had to get a payphone, so we were like
Yeah.
all like arguing who was gonna call which parent, kind of thing. So we talked another guy into calling someone else's parent, so he didn't have to talk to his own parents. And then they got on the phone and they're like, put him on the phone right now. Yeah, so we got a lot of shit because they had to drive like 2 hours. I didn't like we just had to like read some signs and then like the parents knew where we were kind of thing.
So you got on a raft,
Yeah, yeah, just jumped on a raft with like toy machine guns and crap and just like took off. It was
and not
like
even. I would assume, like, again, just no different than when we were kids and go in the woods, except for you just kept probably did not realizing that the stream will take you.
oh, we were having a blast, man. Like we were like probably what would be like probably preteens, like 11 or 12 probably. But we had like our army guns and like the old ones in the back of the day that made the clicking sounds and stuff like that. So we had that. We just like cruised down the river, man, and we were just like, where are we? It's getting dark. Like what's going on? Kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
and like I said, like that's the time where like you don't even think about it, like,
hmm,
and you don't think that a river can take you that far
yeah,
down
right.
the road. I mean, it was odd because I was in downtown Detroit today or yesterday, and I laughed because I'm like I tell people I'm like I live closer a lot closer to Canada than any other state. Ohio's
Oh,
the
yeah.
closest, and I'm in Detroit, which Detroit is what, like 8 miles from me. Downtown Detroit is, I mean, what, 15 miles if that, and I'm just like, that's Canada right there.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
it's pretty cool.
I could easily, I mean, in 2 hours, if you were a kid and you got on a raft, you could end up finding yourself in the Detroit River in international waters.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like I was like, yeah, and it was so crazy, but I don't know. I wasn't the smart friend. Like one of the other guys figured out like where we were based on like some of the street signs, and then was like, oh, I know this town, blah blah blah. But it was like 2 hours away. Like like, when we piled into that van and like the look that my buddy's dad gave us, like I thought we were just gonna melt into a fear puddle. Like I was just like, oh my god, man. And
But
he
think of that story that you have now, like,
Yeah, well, and it's good. Like back in the day, like now it's not everyone's a little afraid. But dude, like your friends' parents would discipline you if they had to. We heard like almost 2 hours straight about what boneheads we were, like all the way back, man. It was just like holy shit.
and you know what? That's not, those were the days where if you would have went in and said, well, Johnny's dad said this to us after this, your parents would have been like, yeah, and they're right. Did you
Yeah,
listen to that?
dumbass.
Like, they're like, good. They did the work for me. You understand how bad it was.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. No, just back in the day, and like, yeah, man, just like it's crazy, dude. All the shit we used to get into, and living on a farm too. Like, and as soon as we got like back in the day, we had 3-wheelers, which are like just death machines, right? So,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
when they got outlawed because they were like you said, they were death machines. They
Dude, we
flipped pretty
still,
easily.
yeah, we still got an old Honda Big Red up at the farm
Oh,
that we
really?
drive around. Oh yeah, dude, we was driving around all over the place. But you'd have buddies in the neighborhood or in the farm neighborhood or whatever, and like especially when you got older, you'd like snag a couple beers out of the driving shed or like out of the shop or whatever, and then you'd all take off on your 3-wheelers and go through bushes and stuff. Like it was pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, I remember a friend having a God, what was it called? Was it called a big boy? It was a mini bike, but had these big wheels.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
I mean, he wasn't rich, but he had all the toys, and his dad owned a trucking company. And so like he, and I remember jumping that thing. And these days I would, if I could take myself back and look at myself doing it, I would be like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" Like in the woods, like who knows like what stumps are there, what trees are.
Oh man, I remember like because my parents had like an old barn, so it still had the old like hay fork rope. So back in the day, they would bring a loose load of hay in the barn,
Oh,
scoop it up, and like bring it up. So we would Tarzan across these like hay mows up in the barn and stuff. And now to this, I have a bad left knee because I slipped and fell and hit the back of my leg on like the tongue of a trailer, but it like barely hit. Like there was still like straw and stuff there. So I still attribute that to like my bad knee. So as soon as you hit like 35, it's over. That's when everything starts to ache.
I would say 40 for me, and that's when I started skateboarding again when my ex and I split up.
Ooh,
Um, and I felt good because I hadn't skated in so long. So I felt pretty good, but I would say about 4 or 5 years into it, I mean, I had started collecting, but not like I am now. That's when the body was like, all right, dude, enough of this 4 to 5 days a week skating. And again, I was not doing nearly the stuff that I was when you were younger,
yeah.
but the the toll of lifting weights for 20 plus years, the skateboarding that I did do, which God knows I put a lot of miles on these knees and,
Yeah.
and slamming. And it's harder. Like it's a lot easier to review toys. I have never come home and or never finished doing a review and been like, man, I tweaked my ankle. I got a swell bow here. Uh,
Well, that kind of reminds me of now. Like it used to be back in the day, like because I'm in a band too. We're still pretty active, but you would play till like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then have to pack up your gear, and you wouldn't make it home till like 4 or 5 in the morning, depending where you're coming from. But around here now, like last call's like 11 o'clock at the latest. Like all the bars and stuff in like the big cities and stuff. Like maybe like place like Toronto, maybe they're open till 1 or 2. But we play in like London, Ontario all the time, and it's like the show starts at like 7. If you're the headliner, you're going on at 10 and you're finishing up around 11 o'clock. So it's like it's evolving with me. Like, cause I
the
don't want to be up till like,
pandemic changed everything.
oh yeah,
The pandemic changed everything because all of a sudden everything closed earlier.
yeah.
And there's things like you probably know what Meyer is. I mean, you've been to Michigan enough.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what Meyer.
absolutely. Yeah,
That
yeah.
used to be 24 hours. That's where we would go at 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd go hang out at Meyer. I remember, I think it was after 2 a.m. All the donuts from the night before went down to 5 cents. So like
Oh wow,
so
dude.
yeah, they were like 5 or 10 cents. I had some really cheap friends, so they were like, they would wait. And you hope that they had a whole bunch of good ones, or they
Oh
did. But
yeah,
now
dude.
Myers only open till like I think 11, and I'm like, uh, go back to 24. Like that's where the
Yeah.
younger generation would go, and we'd look at magazines. They
Well,
still have
that kind of
magazines.
reminds me of when I was in my early 20s. I was a assistant manager at KFC. So we'd have like, and that's when I was living with all those dudes. Oh yeah, it's dead man. That's absolutely true. I just got issued my canoe last year. But so I was a assistant manager at KFC. So we got a house load of people just partying. So you can imagine what kind of hero you are if you come home at 1 in the morning with like 2 buckets of chicken and like a whole bunch of other bullshit for a bunch of drunk people. Like, oh my god, man. And I used to like purposely like throw extra chicken down. You're only supposed to put like one basket down at like 11 o'clock or whatever, but you closed at midnight, but you'd put like 4 down and bring like all these buckets home for like the party house. And then it just, yeah.
I
Then the
remember.
mess in the morning.
All right, so it sounds like I mean, you said you went into town. So like, did you play with your brothers and your sisters, or
Oh yeah, I guess we went on a major tangent there.
hey, Lord,
So I have a pretty good relationship. Like my brother, my little brother, my youngest sibling,
yeah.
17 years younger than I
Okay,
am.
so yeah, that's
So he's
so
like yeah, he was a bit of a, I think, an oopsie or
oops.
whatever. Yeah.
You're like,
So,
damn it, mom and dad, you still do that?
yeah. And then I don't have like me and my like the sister that's like closest to my age. She's a couple years younger than I am. We've got different philosophies for life. So we get along. Like we don't like hate each
Yeah,
other, but we
but as
don't like,
kids, like, I mean,
yeah, we're not super close. But then my next sister that's like, was she like 10 years younger than I am? Like we're
wow.
like we're like the same person. Like we're just same interests. Like we hang out a lot more often just
But
because
like,
we're
but that as when you're a kid, like you're not 11 hanging out with a 1-year-old, you know,
No, no,
other than to do like family things. And so you didn't have built, like you said, you didn't have those built-in play friends, even though you had three siblings.
well, no, and I think that's where a lot of my creativity, like I draw and stuff like that too, and like I was mostly into comic book art, so I would like, on my off time when I wasn't helping on the farm, I would do a lot of that like comic book art and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and like play music. Like I was playing guitar like fairly young, but I just always like escaped into the creativity because I didn't have like I would have to arrange to go into a city or something, hang
Yep.
out with my friends for the weekend, right? So you'd have to like iron that out with whoever's parents were picking you up, dropping you off, kind of thing. And yeah, so I think that's probably a lot of where my artistic streak comes from, just kind of just entertaining yourself, right? So
So, do you remember not like the first toys you kind of mentioned the first toys you really fell in love with, but
yeah,
do you remember like the first toys that you had? And I know like I say this all the time, like for me and a lot of the guys that are 50, it's the adventure people, the Migos, Hot Wheels or Matchbox. Do you remember like the first toys that you remember? Not the first things you fell in love with, but that you
the first ones I can remember having like an absolutely obscene amount of the tan and green army men.
dude, I love
Yeah,
Army
yeah,
Men so
yeah.
much fun.
I still have a bunch around here. They're like dotted around on shelves and everything. But no, that's the first one as like in my memory that I can remember going out and like setting up like the two opposing armies because I was like out in the country, right? So I'm out
Yeah.
playing by the rivers. I'm playing like in the rock garden or whatever. And then my parents had this awesome like at the farmhouse. They had these awesome pillars out front. So it was like really cool to set them up between like you got the tan guys over here and like the other guys, and you build little bridges and stuff like that. But
And those were the things where if you lost one, it didn't really matter. You buy another bag of them.
yeah,
If you stepped on one and it broke, then he was just an injured guy. It wasn't like breaking a GI Joe or losing an arm for a He-Man figure. Like it
yeah.
didn't really matter.
Well, I remember vividly having this one army man. He was the one that he was holding the rifle up with one arm.
Yep, I know.
The other arm had broken off, but he was like this badass one armed like army hero. He was like the hero of like the Green Army kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely remember that guy, man. I can't remember what it did. It was one arm something. It was probably not appropriate for today's day and age, but
There's a lot that we said and did that was not appropriate for today.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Different conditioning back then, I
Well, it
guess.
was a different time for sure. All right,
Yeah.
so that was like the first you remember. But what was the first toys you fell in love with?
Ooh, first toys I really felt.
Like, what
As
was
a
the first property that you can remember being like, I have to have as much of this as possible? Or did you not have? Maybe you just
No, I think it was like my parents, like when I was younger. So being at the age I was at, like my parents were like very thrifty. So I got a ton of Masters of the Universe because at that time, that's when it was kind of like, the second or third series, kind of winding it down a little bit right
yeah.
before the major drop off. So I had like my He Man was Power Punch He Man, and my Skeletor was Terror Claw Skeletor, like the later
Okay.
releases. But I did have like I did the send away for King Randor. I had Scareglow. I had a bunch of this stuff, but I don't remember ever having Castle Grayskull or Snake Mountain. But I was always outside with my toys. Like there was big like rock piles and stuff, so that was like Castle Grayskull, and like probably to this day, there's probably He Man and GI Joe buried around the farm in
And
places.
and for someone like you, like I grew up in condos, so
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I could leave stuff out in my on my patio where no one could get into. But if you live in houses and stuff, you can only leave stuff out so much without a kid coming by and walking away with it. If you're living in, like you said, on a farm and it's your farm and there's no one else around, if you leave it outside and we didn't know what sun damage was, right? We didn't
Oh no, no, not
we
at
didn't know what
all.
sun damage was.
Uh, oh, dude, and then like my dad did a lot of building on the farm. Like put up new buildings and things. So he get a load of sand or something dropped off by the barn.
Oh
Dude,
man.
armful of GI Joes straight down, digging tunnels. He probably didn't get them all back because he came along and scooped it up and put it into the cement mixer or something, right? So, but back then it was like I think toys were like a little more disposable. Like I don't remember ever being like so attached to a toy back then that it was like,
Oh wow.
you know what I mean? Like I don't know, maybe it's just the way I was. I don't remember being like that. I obviously had my favorite toys, but like if you lost a GI Joe or you buried them because they got shot, and then I would have little graveyards, and you forgot to dig one up. Like I almost didn't really even realize that. Like,
See, I was never like that with GI Joe. Other stuff I didn't. I mean, the other stuff I wasn't as attached to, but GI Joe, like that was the stuff that I really took care of. I took care of most of my stuff. I had other friends that I'm like, all right, well, you want to throw your vamp down the stairs? We can throw yours down the stairs or shoot it down. Mine is being brought down, but hey,
yeah,
and one of my best friends, that's how he was, except for his Night Raven. That was the only thing like he really took care of.
yeah.
Everything else, you'd be like, whoa, he's going down the steps. Like, all right, well, we goes down
Let's
the
set it
steps.
on fire. I got some
Yeah.
firecrackers.
My off striker is being brought down the steps, and yours can get down any way you want
Yeah, fair enough.
it.
Well, I remember my Ninja Turtles met their demise when I got a pellet gun.
See, I never did that, and I know that is huge for so many people.
Oh
The
yeah.
BB gun, the firecrackers. I was never gonna do that with my GI Joe. So I destroyed all my Star Wars action figures.
Oh,
That
there
was
you go.
yeah, I destroyed them, and I've told the story before. Once GI Joe came along, Star Wars was disposable, and I regret this, but I had windows that went down. So in my window, I realized that if I put the head on the windowsill, and I used probably all 50 pounds of whatever I weighed, and I
Oh.
grabbed the top of it and I yanked it down as hard as I could, it would pop their heads off and they'd bounce against the screen in the window. And I do that to see how many times they'd bounce. Every single one of my Star Wars figures was guillotined,
Oh
other than
wow.
like the
Execution.
Stormtrooper and Chewbacca, which you can't because it's all one piece. Every single one of them. So it was years that I would look at the price of a Star Wars figure, going, what the hell? Every single one of them. And again, it wasn't like all in like one day. It was over like, all right, like boom, he did something wrong, and
Yeah, off with his head.
not one GI Joe did that ever happen to. I will tell you that. Not one GI Joe did that ever happen to. And I've told it before. Like I can remember being at Toys R Us, and I was getting a GI Joe, and they were like $269.
Oh
And
yeah.
I remember my dad going, you can get 3 of these figures. And it was an end cap of Star Wars. They were all down to $1. And I go, I don't want those. Now I'm like, Dad, if you would have just bought that whole end cap for a
For
buck each
dollar. Oh
and
yeah.
just put it in a bin and put it to the side, you
Yeah.
know how much money that would be worth today?
Yeah, that's why I laugh at some of those stories you see on the internet where it's like old Kmart moves shelves and finds whatever Star Wars figures underneath. It's like there's a kind of hard to swallow. I don't know if Kmart would not move their shelves for like 40 plus years.
Uh, I swear some of the Toys R Us had figures that were there forever, but and now there's no Toys R. Well, you guys still have some Toys R Us's, but
Yeah, they're sadly have met their demise in Canada once again.
oh,
So
did they?
yeah, there's a lot of them closing down. The rumor is that it's done. It was bought by there was a famous franchise in Toronto. I think it was Sam the Record Man. So it was his grandson that bought the Toys R Us in Canada. And then like they only had like 8 rows of toys. The other half was like baby clothes and like kids clothes. But then
Okay.
they started selling like karaoke machines, vinyl, rock t-shirts. But they wanted like $45 for a goddamn Pantera shirt or something, like, or any band. It was like it was so
Wow.
expensive. I was like, why you're selling CDs in 2025 for like $35 a piece? Like what, how are
Do
you
they do they still sell CDs? I mean, I'm not even joking. Like,
very Toys R Us was the only place I had seen CDs other than like a respin place like Microplay or something like that. That was the only
wow.
place I've ever seen brand new CDs. Like, and the vinyl was like I was looking at what was I looking at? I forget what the album was, but it was $85 for like a friggin' like I think the cheapest I found Offspring Smash for $38 on sale for the vinyl, and I was like, okay, I'll pick that up. But that's like kind of
I
getting
can't remember the
overpriced.
last time. I cannot remember the last time I bought a CD.
Oh no.
I mean, I have a CD player in my car. I'm that person that says like, if it can't fit on this, I'm not into vinyl. I've never liked the sound of vinyl. If it
Okay.
doesn't fit on this, I don't want it. I want everything compacted into this phone. Uh, matter. I just I got a new iPhone and it has 512 gigs, so I don't have to worry
Oh
about
yeah.
when because I record everything on my phone, like all my reviews. I constantly had to delete stuff right away because my it would tell me that I'm out of space. Now I have more than enough, and I'm able to load all my music. Which before I could only put so much on it. Now I put shit on it. Now I put shit on it that I don't really listen to, but it's not taking up enough space that I don't care.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
all right, I'll delete songs that I don't like, I guess, as I go along.
Yeah. Well, it weirded me out when I got my new Jeep because I was like, it's like, oh, right on. I jump in it and I'm like, where's the CD player? What the hell's going on here? And I looked around and I'm like, oh, it's got like a micro SD card.
Yep,
Like,
that's what
yeah.
my Journey
So
has.
no CD player. So that like blew me away that there was no CD player in a vehicle. I was like, wow, I guess we're here. We're at the point where people don't care about CDs anymore enough to put them even in a vehicle.
So I
So
have a 27 Journey. It has a CD player. It's also a DVD player, but you can't play it while you're
yeah.
driving. But it has a the SD card, but it will not recognize anything over 64 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So it has to be a 64, which means I put all this music on it. And I put like a 128. I was like, why isn't this working?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
come to find out, so I had to eliminate music because when you transfer your music over from your iTunes, there is so much crap on it, whether it be pictures and stuff like that that are loaded onto the albums. And I'm like, all right, well, and that's still a lot of music.
Oh yeah. Well,
You
I
look at
did
how many, especially punk songs that are like sometimes 2 minutes,
2 minutes. Yeah.
a minute and a half. Some are 90 seconds, or well, 90 seconds, a minute and a half. Some are like 50 seconds.
Do you remember that album, Short Music for Short People, where every song
Yes.
was a 30-second song? Found that CD the other day and actually like threw it in like an old computer in the garage or my recording computer because it still has a drive. And that took me way back. I was like, wow, man. But yeah, no, we're in the digital era, like 1,000%. Like even my band goes back to the studio in June to finish up the album we're working on, and we're not even considering CDs as like an option. We might do a few vinyls for the like sell at shows for people that are into that, but everything's gonna be digital. Like,
And I know, like, because I got a lot of buddies that are, in punk bands here. They started doing the cassette tapes again, and they're like,
yeah,
"Yeah, it's
uh,
coming back." I'm like, "Who the hell wants a cassette tape?"
yeah, I don't.
Like,
Yeah.
all right. So as again, you're in elementary school. I don't know how your schooling system was. I know for us, normally elementary school is to fifth grade, then middle school is normally sixth to eighth grade. Is that how yours was too?
So I think in bigger cities they do the middle school thing,
Okay.
but my public school was like kindergarten to grade 8 and then grade 8 to like, high school or whatever.
Okay.
So and I went to and my son goes to the same school. He's 11 and he goes to the same school that I went to as a kid. So that's kind of cool. It's like when you go back to your old school, it feels so small. Like you're just like, holy shit, what's going on here?
Well,
But
my daughter went to my high school and it had grown. And
oh well,
when I graduated, we had 2,700 kids and we were the small class.
oh shit. Yeah, see my public school, like we only had like it was less than 200. I bet you it was only like 120 kids or
That's
something.
crazy.
Like our classes were like our most of the classes were like between 8 and 10 kids.
Wow.
There was the odd class. I think my grade 7 class maybe got up to 17, but like it
Yeah,
was just, yeah.
never. My kids went to all my kids went to a Montessori school for elementary school. They had smaller classes, and the way they teach is a little bit different, and it really does advance the kids. Whether you're a kid that is advanced or even behind, they do a great job of advancing. And I think for my son, I think it hurt him, to be 100% honest, because when he got into middle school, things were a lot easier because they were so far advanced. But when he
Yeah.
got into high school, I think he really struggled because he no longer knew how to learn. He didn't have to do it for like 3 years because he was so far advanced. Where my daughter's the opposite. She wants all advanced classes. This is what she wants to do. This is where she wants to go to college. Like, good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. I'm glad. I'm not pushing you. But as you're going through these grades, like, is there a certain time before you get into high school that For us, it's like you get into sixth grade, and it's like, all right, toys are kiddish, but it seems like we were all still playing with them, but we were hiding it. Did
Well,
that happen, or were you?
yeah, like even up. So I would say by the time I hit grade 7 or 8, like girls were starting to become a factor. So you definitely didn't want the girls knowing that you like still played with your toys at home, right? So I think you kind of keep it in there. But for me, like I kind of went from that into high school. Like I kind of had like I sort of like I was in that like okay, I've been playing in bands, so I'm kind of hanging out with the punk and metal kids or the grunge kids back then, right? Like Alice in Chains was huge, Nirvana, all
Yeah.
that stuff. So you're kind of hanging out with that, but then you got the separate group of friends. But there was still like the odd time, like even in that era, where you would be out by yourself or something, you would grab like a Toy Biz Marvel figure or
Yep.
something. So I don't think I really ever stopped like collecting per se. So
All
I
right.
got into that. So you're collecting, but I quite like vividly remember back when it was like not cool to be an adult collector, being like, "Oh, hey, you're going through the checkout," like, and then the person's like, "Oh, hey, these yours?" "Oh, no, no, it's it's like my nephew's birthday and he wants 7 RoboCop figures." So
What's that robot?
so I remember those days, but then it was almost like liberating when I got to the point where like it was right before I started live streaming. I think I was on Toy Domination and stuff like that. Like it obviously when you meet people online and you get into these chat groups, you're not going to hide that you're a toy collector because that's why you're
Yeah.
there, right? So I think after that, like after I started live streaming and stuff like that, that's when I didn't really care about like coworkers and like just everybody knowing that I collected shit and like built these worlds and stuff like that. Like, cause even my dad's like, "Oh, why do you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's like having a model train set, right? Except it's like Star Wars figures and stuff." And then I was like, "It's like you collecting old cars and motorcycles and shit like that. Like that makes you feel good. It makes you feel young, kind of thing." And I think that's how he kind of wrapped his head around it.
I
So
think the model train set analogy, that and not RC cars, but the slot cars, the
yeah,
people that would create complete cities around it. I think that is probably the best analogy to compare what a lot of toy collectors do and what like you and Dom do, where you're just building these cities. Fatred does it.
yeah,
It's like it's a little world, and I don't know why it's different if it's a train that just goes around in a circle, but you're building, you're having little trees and you're having like, why is that different than what we do? Other than most of our stuff is found in the kid aisle.
exactly. And I think well, part of it is too. Like obviously, not everyone's got a god complex. But I think people like just want something in their life that they have total control of. You can't always have control of everything going on around you in the real world, but your collection, if you're a world builder or if you do the museum style, whatever, that is yours. You have total control of that.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
That is another way to look at it for sure. Um, Now, as you go into high school, like you
Yeah.
said, it sounds like you started putting toys away. Were you reading comics? I see a lot of people switch to comics because it's easier. They're easy to hide.
Yeah.
Or if someone catches you, just say, "Oh, I just like reading stories." Were you like into comics, or did you just
Oh
like
no, I was like right part of that whole 90s boom, like Spawn, like oh Image Comics, like this is so badass,
fuck
like
you,
all the
Image? Fuck
creators are
you.
yeah, yeah. All the creators are
I,
going over. Like you had guys like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Silvestri, Eric Larson, like all these guys like going to start their own, and you're like, you're like a teenager, so like any like kind of like rebel thing is like you just gravitate towards it. I feel,
yeah.
especially when you're like punk and metal music and you're playing in bands, like that stuff's just like, yeah, they're sticking it to the man. They're gonna go start their own company and they're gonna have blood and guts and like. And then you didn't really realize that Wildcats were just a carbon copy of X-Men and like, you know what I mean? It's like and Pitt was
When
just the
someone would
Hulk.
argue, which one was the one with the claws, and someone would say, "Oh, it's Wolverine," and another person would be like, "No, it's not. Wolverine doesn't have claws on their fingers," and
Yeah, yeah.
you're kind of going,
That was
"Well,
Rip.
I guess you're
I
kind
think it
of
was
right,
Rip
but
Claw.
but
Yeah,
Yeah, Ribclaw, but
yeah.
Sabretooth does like."
Well, it was like the Pit, right? It's like it's the Hulk with long hair and like fingernails, like long fingernails. That's what the Pit was. Like we just and Wildcats was just the X-Men, but that's what those guys knew, and that's what they did, right? And it was cool back then.
But that's what Marvel and DC did to each other too. Like
Oh,
again,
absolutely.
it's so easy to look at those two and be like,
Well, then
all
you go
right,
full
well,
circle, and Jim Lee is like some top guy at DC Comics now, like or like the editor in chief,
yeah.
right? So it's just it all comes full circle, man. It's just too bad most 90s comic books aren't worth the paper they're written on because it
I
was overprinted, right?
I think it was last week we were talking about it, and I was like, I have a shit ton of image 0 and 1 and
Oh,
zeros and ones, and obviously 2, 3, 4. I can't get rid of them. Like I could go to I could go somewhere and be like, hey, I'll give you $5 for this, and they'd be like, do I need to take the comics with it? Like,
yeah. Well, and then in the 90s too, they're famous for like variant or like foil covers or
yes,
remember Batman 500 had the big like fold out like
I do.
cover.
I had a couple of them.
Oh, I bought like 4 copies of them, put them away, and then just ended up recently finding them. And I was like, now my son's right into comics. So I just given them all to him. I'm like, here you go. I, of
All
course,
those
yeah.
all those Nightfall comics, I sold them all, and Nightfall, Night Quest. I'm pretty sure I sold them all. They weren't worth shit. What
No,
was worth a lot of money was the last 20 to 30 GI Joe of Marvel.
yeah.
And for some odd reason, I had two 155 GI Joes, and one sold for like, because I don't read comics, and I was like, I don't really care. The ones that I wanted to keep were the ones that I read as a kid, so they
Yeah.
were all beat up anyway, and they're not worth anything. They're not worth anything to begin with, but even less for the condition. But
Oh,
those two 155s, one sold I want to say for like 137, and the other one sold for like 117 or 18. I'm sorry, 237 and then 218.
oh wow. Yeah, I
It was
bought out,
crazy.
I had the first appearance of Venom and Deadpool, and
Oh wow.
I cleaned up on those like last year. That actually one the first appearance of Deadpool actually covered like most of my expenditure at Sarge and Reds for Joe Fest.
uh, Tripping with toys jumping in here saying I love Image Comics.
Oh yeah, buddy.
I got a shitload here for
Yeah,
you.
it's like 90s McFarlane Spawn figures. I've got a box of them carded and a box of like all of them like loose. They aren't even worth like anything. Like I
I
probably
have
down there somewhere.
I have the original Spawn over there, and
Yeah,
then I've had the hamburger face Spawn
I've got that one
in a
still.
box, and it was in its case, but the key the I, how do you consider that packaging? It was still in the packaging. You know, the packaging that when you tried opening it, like your hands look like you just
Cut.
went through a war.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like there's
They're
blood
so
all
sharp.
over. Like
Yeah,
someone died. Like it was so beat up. I'm like, I might as well open. I looked. I'm like, it's not worth it. I can't believe it's not worth any money.
yeah, it's
But
not.
I finally opened it, and we were talking about it. I think we were talking about it last week, and it was like, I think it's so awesome that Todd said, no, we're Batman through the Batarang and cut his like that is part of his
Yeah,
lore. That is what he looks like now, which most other companies would have retconned that and changed it. Like they can't, you can't change that now. So
yeah. Well, what I've done is most of my stuff, if like the valuable stuff I've sold off, it's gone.
yeah,
I've given most of the other stuff to my son, except for stuff that's maybe like a little too much for an 11-year-old. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah, but then I just replace them with trade paperbacks. I got the whole Nightfall series. I've got everything I read, kind of that I loved as a younger person. Like I've got it all in trade paperback.
that's that's what I really need to do, especially Age of Apocalypse. Because
Oh
the cool thing about Nightfall and Night Quest, and there's another night in there, is that they were numbered so that you knew what order to read them.
yeah. Yep.
Good luck with Age of Apocalypse.
Oh
Like it's like there was an order, they all came out, but there's no numerical order. And I know there are trade paperbacks that you can read them in order. And I remember getting one from the library because I wanted my son to read it. And he was like, I don't understand this. And I was like, well, I'll explain it. And I'm going through it. And I'm like, I don't remember. I don't remember this shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it was funny because I bought the Transformers, the original run of the Transformers, a trade paperback. But then when I opened it up, they had this big disclaimer saying that anything featuring like anything owned by Marvel, those pages were omitted. I'm like, what? So and, like you're reading the one with like say Death's Head or like Spider-Man in it, like issue 2, I think that's Spider-Man in it. So it's like just issue 2, just they like whited out Spider-Man in like every panel and like took out the name Spider-Man. Like it's I was like, what the fuck? What are you doing, man?
That's messed up. But you know what's funny? Like we were talking about the Muppet Babies and how like nobody owns the Muppet Babies. Like that's why you can't find it anywhere. And then it got brought up that um it sounds like if you look deep into it, one of the reasons why the Muppet Babies, which you would think that Disney owns it,
Yeah.
but then there's hence they said that because do you remember the Muppet Babies?
Oh, absolutely, man. That was part of the Saturday morning regiment.
Yeah. So there, I think it was either Tony or Toy Optics Spec. They found it and they basically said that the issue is that they played so many different TV shows and movies
Yeah.
that those rights revert to someone. So how do you? So yeah. So if Muppet Babies, if they did the Indiana Jones or the Star Wars one, yeah, they own it. But what if it's the What if it's the Batman one? Well, then Warner Brothers technically owns those rights to those clips and different. I was like, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Well, that whole licensing thing is whack. It's like that whole thing with like Sony owns Spider-Man, but Marvel is like everything else is owned by that. And the X-Men are at Fox, and it's like,
Yep. Fantastic
what?
Four.
Yeah,
Universal still owns the Hulk, which is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That's absolutely insane to me. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing, man.
So in high school, what are you doing? Like you said you got into music, and
Yeah,
um, I I I mentioned it to very few people have really talked about like getting into music, and I'm like a lot of because I feel like if you're just a top 40 guy or a pop music guy, like there's not a lot of passion for it. But as a punk rocker, uh, there's this hardcore like it's a whole lifestyle.
oh,
So
absolutely,
how
man.
did that like it sounds like you went from toys into your music.
Yeah,
Um it
yeah. So,
again, it formed who I am. So, well, skateboarding did obviously like that, but how does that take you? Like
well, I think too, like even to this day, I kind of like, obviously you got to grow up, have a job, you got a family, but I still have that like kind of like anti-authority thing kind of in the back of my mind. But I mean, when I got right into music, I like, dude, I had the long bleach blonde hair, wearing the sweaters, the plaid. Like I was like grunge, like through and through. Alice in Chains, like Soundgarden, Nirvana. They were all my favorite. I think I could play like, and probably still to this day, I can like play and sing like every Nirvana song, a bunch of Pearl Jam shit, like all that '90s stuff. It just kind of never leaves your mind. And then I kind of gravitated more towards like the SoCal punk, like got like I heard Pennywise, I'm like, oh, who the fuck is this, right? This is kind of when grunge is like winding down. So I got into like No Effects, Bad Religion, the whole SoCal scene, like that
yeah.
'90s punk stuff, right? And then from there, I like gravitated into like metal because like all of a sudden I'm like, hearing Pantera and stuff, and I knew of like Iron Maiden and stuff like that. I think as a punk, you kind of like you hear that stuff
Yeah.
anyway. But as soon as I got like started hearing stuff like Pantera and like, some of those like, and even newer bands like say like Shadows Fall, In Flames, like some of those are like early like new metal bands that were coming out. Like it was like that just kind of brought me right to metal. So like even to this day though, if you go and listen to my band, like we all come from such different backgrounds that we'll have like a song that's like it's punk, it's metal, and then there's a little bit of like ska or something in there for a breakdown or something. Like it's
I think you get more of that now. I know when I was growing up in those late 80s and early 90s, it was like if you like punk, you like punk. And if you like hardcore, even it's hardcore punk, you like hardcore. There wasn't a mix. And there definitely was not a now. I always think there was a mix more like I feel like like metal musicians there was so much more influence in punk than people realized till obviously the internet. But if you like punk, you did not like metal. Like it didn't
yeah,
bother me. Like I liked what I liked for the most part. I loved Anthrax growing up and Slayer and stuff like that.
absolutely.
Uh, but like now it's different because now they talk about like, oh yeah, we grew up on Bad Religion, the Circle Jerks, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But back then, you didn't have that. We to find new bands, we would read who they thanked, and it
Yeah.
was like, okay, oh, they're on Epitaph, we need to get it.
Yeah.
And then you realize not every Epitaph band is great.
Oh no, yeah. Like there's a lot of filler in there too. But when I went to high school, it was more like if you were in the grunge scene, you did not like, and then you would have the older guys that were into like Guns N' Roses and more of
Yeah,
the hair metal stuff. So that was your enemy. Like you hated the 80s
yeah,
establishment, right?
that's a
'Cause
good
you
way
were,
to put your
yeah.
enemy. Like, I'm
And
not
that
hanging
was
out
it.
with burnouts.
Yeah, and that was your like then the grunge was like your music, but we always got along with the punks. Like we didn't always like listen to the same music, obviously, but I think we had more of the mindset that they had rather
Yeah,
than like the older like dudes like laying on their cars smoking cigarettes in the parking lot with their like ACDC jean jacket on or whatever the hell they wore.
because
But
I'm the exact opposite. I'm the straight edge guy. I'm the straight edge guy from day one. From never done any of that shit. So I'm the straight edge guy. Again,
yeah,
come from a skateboard scene, which at the time there was still punk, and then it became a huge rap scene, which not my thing. And I'm glad I saw. Not I'm glad people do what they want, but skateboarding went all to rap, and then you start to see the metal and the punk, and then the 80s. Like you
yeah,
start to see, okay, I'm glad you guys are starting to have your own identity rather than just following. But you brought up like again, you become this anti-authority. Have you, and as we get older, like again, like you get older, you're like, yeah, this band better never sell out and make money. As you get older, you're like, that's actually pretty cool that Bad
yeah,
Religion, Pennywise, Sick of It All, these bands can actually make a living making music because that's what in the end their profession is. But the changes, have you ever seen it's Punk Rock Dad, I think is what it's called.
well, I don't think I've ever
It's
seen that.
so Jim from Pennywise, he did it was like a documentary. I want to say it's not Punk Rock Dad because that's that's my YouTube name or my personal Instagram name.
Oh, there you go.
um God, man, it's gonna drive me nuts. But anyway, if you look up Jim Limburg, Pennywise and documentary, he goes to a lot of these punkers that are dads and everything. And
Yeah,
how do you transition into it? And he has a segment in the documentary talking about himself, and he's like, it's weird having three girls and you're trying to tell them something, and you're like, yeah, I'm the guy that sings "fuck authority,"
yeah.
and you're telling them like,
Well, I'm having one of those like, yeah, I'm having one of those moments with my son right now. So he's like 11 years old, man, but he's got like we've moved him into a loft bedroom. It's like his own apartment, right? So he's actually in the last like year, well, a few months he's picked up drums. So I'm like,
okay,
hey, he's like, Dad, I want a drum set. I'm like, hey, man, I got 3 in the garage that I'm not using right now because my garage is like a kind of a recording studio, right, where
okay,
we jam and stuff. So bring it in, get them all set up. But yeah, now he's like into like the White Stripes and Green Day and stuff like that, like because he's got a buddy that plays guitar and they're starting a band or whatever. But yeah, no, so I'm kind of having one of those like, oh my God, this like kid's gonna I have to deal with what I put my parents through now with my music and shit. Well, now, but it's a little different because my dad wasn't a musician or anything, and I'm like probably a little cooler about it than he would be being an old
yeah,
school.
I do think like again, my son and I we are night and day.
Yeah,
My daughter and I, again, if anyone's watched my streams, they know like she just kind of barges in on Mondays, and her and I, two peas in a pod.
yeah,
But I think like for me, like if I had a son, like if my son was really into skateboarding and was good or whatever, and he wanted to like he wanted to seek out employment, and whether it be working in a skate factory or for a team or doing photography, I think it's easier to be open to it because it's something that you share this passion for,
yeah,
and you can be like, hey, you can make a living. You may not be a professional skateboarder, but you can make a living in the skateboarding industry. Just don't think that you're probably going to be pro. So it would be easier for me to do that, just like I would assume for you, it's like
Yeah.
easier to be like, all right, you're gonna have this passion, and playing music is something you can do the rest of your life.
Yep. Yep.
That's another thing. Like if you're playing guitar or whatever, you may, as time gets older, as time goes on, you may not be as fast or be able to play as well. Skateboarding is one of those things that eventually it will be taken away from me. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
anything that physical will eventually be taken away, and I can still watch all the videos and love it. Um, but it's, again, it'd be a lot easier to be like, all right, you're gonna put me through a lot of shit, like you just
Yeah.
said. But
Yeah, man. Like, oh, I'm fully expecting that, but I I know too though that there's probably gonna be situations where I see what he's doing or what him and his buddies are doing, and it'll take me back. I'll just be like, oh
yeah,
God, like you know what I mean. And that's the great thing about kids. Like, obviously they grow up too fast, but it is nice when they get to that point where like, they start turning into like people. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
this is what this. Okay, this is gonna be his personality. This is the kind of guy he's gonna be, like, sort of thing. And yeah, I guess you just do the best you can to guide that in a positive direction. But, it's like, if he gets dropped off by the cops, am I gonna hate him? No, still gonna love him. He's my son. We're gonna have a serious talk, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a
I've tried explaining it, and again, there's a big family. There's a big clash with my son, not just me, but it's just, he's
yeah,
at that age where he knows everything. And again, my daughter is different, but I've tried explaining like, hey, you're gonna make mistakes,
yep,
but as a parent, there are some things that I can probably help you prevent from making the same mistakes we did. You're gonna make
absolutely.
enough mistakes on your own. Let us help you guys not make some of the mistakes that we did. And again, I've seen my daughter, my oldest daughter, doing it. The same mistakes that my dad said. Do not get
Yeah.
do not get too deep into credit card bills. Well, when you live at home and you're working a full-time job, you can pay those credit card bills. Eventually, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and I
So,
think that's something we have to navigate very carefully as toy collectors as well. I've heard of a lot of horror stories about guys that just get in too deep with stuff. Hey, what's up, famine?
Famines, dude, I've never seen you, so it's great to have you here. And because you're new, you're gonna get this.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
And if I have seen
Classic,
you
man.
before, I apologize.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe if you stop by the show, but Fam is not always on. He's one of the co-hosts on World Makers Consortium, but he doesn't show up to every episode. So maybe you did not see him on
I
there.
tried, and when you do YouTube so much, and you probably know how this is, it is hard to stay.
Absolutely.
Like you want to jump into all the shows and say hi, and eventually you realize like I can't watch toy tubing. Some people can, man, but I'm like,
I try my best to make a playlist for Saturday morning because Saturday morning, if I'm not
oh really?
waiting for work, I do like I get my coffee together. I do my morning routine. I come downstairs, throw that playlist on, and I sit there for probably 3 or 4 hours and paint because I'm up at 5 in the morning and I do it on
Okay.
purpose, right? So like I'm up, I got a couple hours, 3 hours before the rest of the fam jam is live and up and well and whatever. But so yeah, so I like that precious morning weekend time where it's kind of like I can paint, I can work on my dios, I can kind of do whatever. Not that I'm restricted in any way. Like my wife's super cool with it. My son gets involved, but yeah, that's my
Yes, dead man is. I'm not really. I'm not calling you an asshole. I guess if you don't know the reference, if you didn't know the reference of Army of Darkness, you might be like, "Whoa, it's not
oh,
a
what's
nice way
going
to
on?
introduce." But I'm assuming if he's friends with you, then he has to know.
Oh, absolutely. I see a few people. Well, Dead Man, obviously, we do Toy Mercs over on their YouTube channel every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m.
Yep.
Well, Eastern time. They're in some odd, weird Pacific bullshit time. So
And Patrick says he sure he does.
yeah,
Maybe I'm calling you an asshole. You never know. All
you
right,
never
so
know.
I'm gonna say this very delicately because I I once said it. You said you moved out when you were like 16. So did you graduate high school?
I did. I graduated, and so at that age, I had only had in Canada, like you're pretty much you can be done when you're like 17, 18 kind of deal. Like right before like you kind of do whatever. But anyways, so I went to school and I worked at Eastside Mario's in the pizza salad section for like over a year. So I was working nights at Eastside Mario's and partying hard and playing gigs on the weekend and going to school. But at that point, I only was taking like 2 classes a day.
Okay.
So I could go in, and just do afternoon classes, which was great because I was partying and stuff like that. So I could probably only make it to school for like lunchtime. So, but yeah, I went through that. And then actually, I did quit early because I got a full-time job somewhere. So in Canada, you can go back if you got enough credits and just do a GED, which is, we call it doesn't stand for that, but we call it the good enough diploma. So you go in and you pass like an intelligence test, you do these tests, and then they give you your high school diploma if you're like really close, but you have to go in and say, hey, I'm living on my own. I have to work a full-time job. Like,
Okay.
they facilitate it for you. So yeah, that was awesome. So I got through that and then moved on to eventually grew up, made a career for myself.
When you move out, how far away? Like, are you still in the same area, or are you like
about 20 minutes away? Like I moved to
so same area.
Yeah, so same area. So I moved into that area, and I moved in with one of the guys in my band to start with, and his girlfriend.
Now, is that 20 minutes by dog sled or by car?
That's by
in Canada.
That's my polar bear. Polar bear speed. But so anyways, it ended up just being like this thing where like everybody started moving into this apartment from the band. And then we like obviously foolishly let our girlfriends move in with us. So it was like, 2-bedroom apartment. Like there was like makeshift rooms made in the living room, but those guys paid like a little less rent because they didn't get like an actual bedroom kind of thing. So
oh my gosh.
It was fun though, dude. We had a lot of fun. And then we rented this like at that time there was a space in Stratford where we were living where you could rent out like just a box, like a storage room. So all these bands from town would rent them out. So you would have like a 15 by 15 space to get all your gear into. And then in the wintertime, you'd have to bring space heaters and shit like that. Like it was fun, man.
Oh, man. It's crazy to hear like how like what you got, like what you found is fun as like a musician and someone obviously who partied. I'm one of those guys that like I went to parties, but again, not being a drinker and obviously not doing drugs. I loved going to shows. I went to so many punk shows, local punk shows. But skateboarding, like I'd be out to 2-3 o'clock in the morning. There was one place where it was actually where we had our high school prom, and they had 3 steps, brick steps. But normally you couldn't get there to like it'd be 2 a.m. before you could skate there, and everyone was gone.
Yeah.
And I can remember skating there numerous times till like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. It's just like it was so much fun and again, you didn't have that responsibility like you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that was kind of like fun too. Like when you were leaving when you were younger, living at home. For me, it was like, oh, okay. Well, like my parents gave me permission to go have like a sleepover, but you weren't doing that. You were going out to like be idiots and stuff like that, right? And then maybe end up like back wherever at like 2 a.m. But yeah, because I remember getting in huge trouble because I was still living at home and my buddies got us tickets for Nirvana in Toronto. And my parents are like, yeah, absolutely no way. Like we got shit to do that weekend. So I was like, fuck you. I left Friday night, Friday after school. I just went straight to my buddy's place. And then I think the next night we got his older sister drove us all the way to Toronto to see Nirvana. We saw Nirvana and a bunch of other shit. And then, oh, dude, I was in like so much trouble forever. Like, because I just like went, right? It was just like crazy, dude.
But again, those are the experiences, and those are the things that like it seems awful. It's like the first job that you had is like, oh, I hate going there. But I look back at my first job working at Ponderosa. I made so many good friends, and when you look back at it, realizing how it didn't really matter. Like if I showed up late or but I never, that is where I truly learned like my work ethic because I had my dad call in one day when I didn't want to go in and my manager called me in. He said, "Don't you ever do that again." I was like, "What are you talking? I didn't feel good." He's like, "No, no, this is your responsibility. It is not your dad's responsibility to ever call in for you. If you don't want to come into work, you call in. You do not have your dad." And that was it. Like
Yep.
from that day forward, it was instilled in me. Like he was right. Like this is my responsibility, not my dad's. And if I'm able to do it, and if I just don't want to come in, then I need to be the man and say, "Hey." And I've called in 5 times, probably around 5 times in 25 years, actually being sick to
Yeah.
my job
Yeah.
till 2 weeks ago when I called in 4 days in a row. And like if I'm calling in sick, my boss knows that I'm not feeling well, you
Yeah.
know.
I've always had that relationship with my employers too. Like if I call in, like they know I'm sick because I don't make a habit of like.
Yeah.
But what I usually try and do is go to work sick so I can take a sick day once in a while when I want to do something fun. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do that once in a while. I do that twice a year when I'm going to Michigan. So I'll want to leave on the Friday morning.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, say it's the end of the year, I'm like running short on vacation time. I'll just be like, fuck it. So you call in and then you're like gone to Michigan for the weekend and then you try and be home for Sunday. But
Yeah. I usually use my sick time as a vacation time because we can do that.
yeah,
But I was talking to my boss when I was off. I'm like, why do I feel awful for calling in? All these other people calling every time they just don't want to work. And here I
yeah,
am, like, I mean, you know why I'm not working. It's like, dude, don't worry about it. Or
yeah,
you go into work sick to the point where he's like, we have health insurance.
yeah,
Go to the doctor. All right. That is why we pay for it. Go.
yeah. I'm like one of those guys too because I'm like in like a leadership role where I work.
Yep.
So and it's like right now I'm like there's been like I said, getting the cold today, and there was like a day last week where I just felt like garbage. But the other guy, my counterpart, is like away in like Mexico. So I'm like, dude, if I don't go in, it's just like management's gonna try to come from down upstairs and try and run the show down on the floor, and it's just gonna be a complete nightmare. I'm just gonna go in so I don't have to clean up the mess tomorrow. But yeah, like I said,
That's how I feel,
it's just like sometimes it's not worth calling in. And I could like make up office work if I felt shitty enough that I needed to sit in my office kind of thing. So
Oh, okay. So okay, as you graduate high school now, you are playing band. Are you collecting anything, or are you collecting any toys? Because clearly, I
yeah,
said this. I'll say this to like every person I have on here. I feel like when you're a collector, you're always collecting something, whether you realize or not. I was collecting skateboards from old friends and everything, right? Didn't realize I was a collector. I was just taking people's old stuff. But again, I realized like how much stuff you were actually collecting. Were you collecting any toys, or are you just doing the musician thing, collecting probably CDs, DVDs?
that was a lot of like a lot of media, like especially CDs. Like I always was like there on release day for like new albums and
I
stuff
used
like
to love
that.
that.
Yeah, man, it was so good. Like
Every
me and my
Tuesday,
buddy,
every
yeah.
Tuesday, right?
Well, we'd have different days depending on the band or
Did you?
whatever.
I thought Tuesday was always do music because Wednesday's always been comic day.
Yeah, well, I don't know because like comics and music, and it's like maybe Canada's got their own thing going on. But I remember waiting in line for In Utero to come out at midnight, and I think it was a Wednesday night. Because like yeah, back then me and my buddies were just like so baked that we were gonna. Then we went down to the mall and stood in line, just giggling and stuff like that. And then we'd be like, "Oh, I'm hungry," and like there was like a I forget like a popcorn place or something across that stayed open like all night till the release of this album,
A
just
what?
to make like a popcorn place, or they sold like taffy and like bullshit like
Okay,
that.
all right,
So
okay.
everybody's jumping line to like go get something to eat, right? Because like everybody in line waiting for In Utero to come out is like baked out of their minds, probably. So yeah, so I remember doing stuff like that, but just yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. Like physical media, and then I started getting into actually collecting guitars because then I got like kind of like a gearhead sort of thing where I would buy like the biggest piece of shit guitar from the pawn shop, take it home, take it apart, strip it, like not redo the electronics, but I'd repaint it or like do something
Okay, so
cool.
you weren't collecting like expensive guitars. You were just
Oh,
buying.
I was buying junkers and fixing them up,
Okay.
like putting like my own name brands on it, or just putting on like a like a Nirvana sticker, a Pennywise sticker on the headstock, or something stupid like that. I had a couple decent ones, but I was still like I had actually started dating this girl, one of my first like real serious relationships, and she was kind of a nerd, so she was buying me Toy Biz Marvel figures.
Okay.
So she would like that was kind of like our weekend thing because I was working a factory job, had weekends off. So we kind of come like meet up Friday after work, then go out for supper, maybe hit the mall, go to Toys R Us, like that kind of stuff. And then we'd buy like 2 or 3 like Toy Biz Marvel, come home, like have a couple of drinks and like just goof around with like these action figures because she was into like, yeah, like also like those little like fairy collectibles and like these what were they called? I think they're called homies or something like that.
I know homies because
Yeah,
my
yeah,
cousin was super into homies. That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
only reason why I know it. She had her and her dad had a huge collection of them. That's the
Oh
only
yeah.
reason why I'd be like, "What the fuck are homies?"
Well, and then the girl I ended up marrying, when I met her, she had like this old Nissan and had them all glued to the dashboard.
Oh, okay.
So that was like crazy. That was the second time I'd seen somebody collecting homies. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I only know it because of my cousin Shauna. And I believe her dad also collected them, but she had a huge collection.
Oh, there's so many, man. So many.
Well, they're like little army men or muscles or like
Yeah.
I mean they're no different other than I think they had more paint. I think they actually did you paint? You didn't paint them yourself. They were already
No, no, they had paint, but they would have like say 4 variations of the exact same figure where it's like say
Oh,
a guy with a guitar, but one guitar is black, one's red, there's a white one, and then there's like a what I mean? Like they kind of repeated it and kind of
I
like
would not have known that.
yeah, so they tried to put like I just knew because when she kept them all in this box, so like I don't know, like a couple of years ago we were kind of looking through them. And I'm like, well, that's the same dude as that dude, but they painted this guy white. What's going on here? Like,
Wait, there's other people other than Hasbro that does repaints?
yeah, yeah, that's like the name of the game, right? For the toy industry. Holy crap!
So how long are you going like how long are you with her that you're collecting like the Toy Biz stuff and is it something that continued on after you guys went
Oh,
your separate ways?
absolutely. Like I always had that like that kind of collector spirit where it was like, but it was cool that she just like she fed the habit for me.
Yeah.
So by the
You don't
time
find it
like
too often.
yeah, by the time we split up and like, went our separate ways and did our own things, like I think by the time it was later, much later on that I sold the Toy Biz Marvel stuff that I had when I got into Marvel Legends that like I might have been missing 2 or 3 characters from that whole line. Like I had
Oh
everything.
wow.
Like that was expansive. Somewhere I've got pictures of it all set up.
So what else like I mean did you go to did you go to college or university is what it's called in Canada?
Yeah,
I mean,
so I
basically
did.
everywhere else besides the US it's not called college, it's university.
Yeah, so I did. I took more of like I did the chef thing. So I trained to be a chef. Right,
Okay.
that was like my first career. And then when I started getting a little bit older, I realized that working till 2 in the morning on Saturdays sucks ass. So then I got into the trade. So I got into like carpentry and like, welding and like
Okay.
fabrication and stuff like that. And then I kind of had like a thing going at the beginning of the pandemic where I was making like cabinetry and like doing work for restaurants where I was considering actually like doing my own business. But then, as we know, like all restaurants shut down, like it just got so that screwed that. So I did some subcontracting for a property restoration company. But I ended up designing and running the R&D department at this outdoor furniture place for like 9 years.
Okay.
And then the owner of that, he was a really cool guy. He got bought out, like basically a hostile takeover. So then I left there, did some subcontracting from there, got into some custom mold making
When you
for
said
a
hostile
concrete company.
you said hostile take you meant a merger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought that was like we're merging. I'm like, oh, I'm out of a job
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. Well, this just overnight they just like went in and like cut everybody out of the office till you came in the next week and it was all new people. And I'm like, you know what? This is probably an indication that I should go on a new life journey.
It's only a matter of time because it's like when
Yeah.
someone's like, we're merging, it's like, wait, are we merging with them or are they merging with us?
Yeah.
If they're merging with us, that means I need to get my resume ready to go. If we're merging with them, I'm pretty good. I might be safe.
Are we taking them over? Or are they taking us over?
Exactly. Who
So,
owns 51% is what I'm asking.
yeah, that's basically what happened there. But you know, it is what it is. It's like, yeah, I'm up for any kind of life journey. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, and then I did like the maintenance manager thing in healthcare for a little while.
Okay.
And, you know, and that gets kind of taxing too. We went like I did it all through the pandemic, so it was rough, man. There was a lot of precautions, and you know, I get it. I'm not disputing that fact, but
Hey,
then finally, now I'm back in the building industry, and I love it, man. So
I was in and out of nursing homes all during the pandemic. We fixed copy machines. We had so much work, so we had lots of um, we have a huge nursing home facilities. I have never gotten it.
oh really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got it. Yeah, first time I got it really bad, and then because of the industry I was in, I think I got it like twice more after that, and I just kind of felt worn out. Like it didn't.
Yeah. My ex, she got it really bad. She already has a lot of health issues. But I was in and out of nursing homes like crazy, and myself, my boss, neither one of us. There's one other guy also at our office that never got it, but I'm the only one that's like was in and out of offices the whole time. Nursing homes, not just offices, but nursing homes.
Yeah.
And there was one time I thought that I got it, but it always came back negative. I think I was just sick, you know. But it was after, the big. It was probably like 2 years after, but
Yeah.
everything came back negative, and I had no like other than the flu symptoms.
Yep.
I had no recurring. So I've been one of the lucky ones. I will readily admit that, and I'll knock on my.
Yeah, like I don't think I have anything reoccurring. Like, but, dude, I've been through like a lot of shit in my life. I don't have an appendix anymore. Like I've been through some crazy stuff like that, but whatever. I'm still alive, so that's all that matters.
The appendix thing is like my ex. That was the last surgery I think she had. It was after we split up that she had to have an emergency appendectomy. Like out of all the things that she's had, heart surgery, thyroid removed, 4 back surgeries, and here I am once again because she's the mother of my kids. I'm at the hospital with her, and I'm thinking, why can't your fucking boyfriend be here? Like, basically because if anything happens, I'm the one. It's our kids.
Oh yeah, no shit. It's just freaking crazy.
But no,
I'm still here. My camera's doing this stupid thing where it needs to
okay.
Reset itself or something.
Commander Wolf says I was in the worst of the worst hotspots in New York City during the pandemic. Fucking job sent me there. Had it bad from that. New York, Michigan, and there was another state because our wonderful governor said, "Hey, let's send all these sick old people into the nursing home."
Dude,
we're like the worst. The people that have the worst immune system are in nursing homes.
oh man, like that was like we had actually, and it's really sad. We had one near us where I worked, and the staff walked out, and the Canadian military had to come in and like take over the whole facility. Ooh. Thankfully, there wasn't anything really bad, but like what kind of a human being? Like, well, I get your self-preservation stuff like that, but like really, like nobody was left that was a decent enough human being to make sure that these people were like going to be taken care of. Like that just baffles me, man.
But you know what? Like I like The Walking Dead, and I know people got tired of The Walking Dead, and they always want to see zombie hordes fight, being fought and everything.
Yeah,
I always like The Walking Dead because it is truly how humanity probably would act. You would think we would all get together and want to try and stay together, but the fact is there would be people taking advantage of others. And that's how it would be, unfortunately. And I love that, Kate. I love that topic of, The Walking Dead.
Dude, I'm a post-apocalyptic nut. Like I love Fallout. I love The Walking Dead. Like I'll watch the shittiest B movie on Tubi or Pluto TV. If it's like there's this one with Patrick Swayze from back in the day, and he must be like 20. It's called Steel Dawn, and it's like this awful post-apocalyptic movie, man. It's
With
like,
Patrick Swayze?
yeah, dude. He's so young, but they go to this water farm, and of course, like every woman in the like thing could only find a tiny strip of fabric to like hide themselves from the public. So it's like one of those movies where all the chicks are like super like 80s rock and roll, like no clothes kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, it's just I don't know. I love those like just anything apocalyptic, man. Like the Book of Eli is probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Never seen that. I refuse to watch any Patrick Swayze movies because he refused to do a Ghost 2, and he's been gone for so long. There's no reason for him not to do a Ghost Part 2.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, Patrick's all right. He's been gone for a little while now, but who was it? I think it's Denzel Washington. Or is that who's in Book of Eli?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I just thought the whole like twist in that movie and like the theme and just the breakdown of society, because it's like, yeah, that's how people would act, man. I watched The Road once and I can't watch it again. That is the most depressing movie
What
I've
is
ever
it?
seen. It's called The Road. It's got Aragorn in it. What's his name? But he goes on this whole journey with his kid and then ends up like, spoiler alert, ends up like being horribly sick. And like, it's just like the world is so depressing, man.
So Viper Skull says, anyone remember Night of the Comet? And I remember we watched it for some reason. I couldn't tell you anything about it, but I do remember it. Viggo Mortensen.
I remember that point and click game, Night of the Tentacle. I remember that.
I don't know that one.
You don't remember that? Someone in the chat will remember. It's one of those like early LucasArts, like Escape from Skull Island or one of those where you just like was a point and click adventure, but it was like on your Commodore 64 or something stupid.
This Roadhouse, I will watch. If Roadhouse is on, I'll watch it. A matter of fact, I just saw the clip of his buddy coming in while he's getting beat up, and I laughed because in Roadhouse, why can't I think of his name? Sam Elliott.
Oh
Sam
yeah,
Elliott's the one that gets killed, and he walks back, and it's when God, what was the wrestler that was in it?
Shit. Oh man, you're giving me like
Not Cactus Jack.
overload right now.
Wasn't Cactus Jack. Someone's gonna tell me, but he's beating the shit out of Patrick Swayze.
Wasn't Lou Albano, was it?
Wade, yeah. Wade Garrett is.
Oh, okay.
But the wrestler is Texas. Come on, it was Mick Foley and I can't.
Oh, not Hacksaw Jim Duggan or somebody.
No, why, man? But anyway, I'm watching it and I'm like, he's the one that's still alive here.
Yeah, fair enough, eh?
He's the one that's still alive. Terry Funk, that's it.
Terry Funk. Wow.
Yeah, Terry Funk's being on Patrick Swayze. Like, of course, yeah, William. Couple seconds too late.
Yeah, he's got it.
I'll watch Roadhouse anytime it's on. Roadhouse.
Wrestlers were in everything in the 80s. Wrestlers were in everything. Like even Lou Albano did the Super Mario whatever hour, and like I remember Rock and Wrestling or Hulk Hogan's that cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's just wild.
The Terrence Next Toy says, "Hey Lawrence, just wanted to thank Rad for talking with Quaid and myself on Toymerks last night to help us promote Tide Realms."
Dude, you know about that Kickstarter that's coming up?
I don't think that I do.
Yeah, check it out. There's some really cool Pirates figures that would really be great, like adjacent with like Legions or something like that.
Okay.
Like they've got this whole lore. Like eventually, like I hope it works out for them because like they've got this whole lore and they've got like tons of characters. Like it's wild, dude. Like I was really impressed with the Skeleton Pirate. I like that one a lot.
Even if we put him to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I had like a rough night last night. I was like sitting there and I had this like Emissary Predator. So near the end of Toymerks last night, I'm like checking this out. Like something about it just like mesmerized me to the point where I was like kind of like nodded off for a second. The dead man kicked me out, and then I woke up and like came back.
So Michael Gutierrez says, "I don't think I've ever seen a Patrick Swayze movie. You've never seen Red Dawn?"
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty
Man.
Dancing.
Yeah.
I think Red. I mean, for us, I think Red Dawn, Dirty Dancing, and Roadhouse. Those are like, especially Red Dawn. I mean, if you're a GI Joe
dude.
guy, if
Yeah.
you're a GI Joe or any type of military kid, like in the '80s, Red Dawn was like, that was it.
Well, and that even comes out like I love that movie too. And the remake's okay, but it's not the original.
The remake's not bad, and it was literally
Oh,
done
it wasn't
in my
bad.
city. It was
Yeah.
in my city.
I just like how it's like they change obviously the protagonist because of the times or whatever, but it's the original. It's just like a bunch of high school kids, and they're like, yeah.
All right, so originally it was supposed to be Russia.
Really? They
Yes,
changed it.
and I know this for a fact because they were filming. Like the studio was right behind my work, and they had one of our copy machines. So I had to keep. And they rented one, and they rented an older one, and they couldn't get the red right. So I'd be in there, and I'd see all this Russian shit, like. But then they started having some issues with Russia, so they wanted to change it. So they switched it to China.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was just because of the political like climate kind of thing.
Well, that was kind of the reason why that was kind of why they shifted away from the whole Russian thing, because they were having some issues. And again, if you look at, I was just watching a thing, and if you ever watch Top Gun or Maverick, they don't ever tell you who the bad guys are.
Nope.
They kind of insinuate who they are, but they don't let you know. But yeah, so there was the running. I want to say it was Russia. I just don't, yeah, because it had the Russian
Like
the Russian flag. So all that had to be redone. But they filmed a lot of it in my city, like in the little town that I live in.
Okay.
So there was like a house with plane parts in its lawn because they filmed out the front of it. But it did come out for the longest time.
Okay. Yeah, the only movie
it switched from China to North Korea.
Oh, right, North Korea, right. But yeah, the only movie they filmed near my house was that Stephen King movie, The Tall Grass or whatever.
Okay.
So it was like actually right around the corner from here. And they had this awesome like set built, and it was a big church thing, but it had no like, it was like done like an old Western town where it was just the front. And it was just this field with like, apparently they scouted out this field with like the perfect grass or whatever. And then they put it like on, I don't know if you guys have Kijiji or Marketplace or whatever. They said, hey, anybody, we got to get rid of this shit. So like come and get it for free. Dude, people flocked there and like ripped that building to shreds. Dude, it was crazy. Like the farmer's field got ruined because people were just driving in there, and like someone ended up with like the steeple, and like it was crazy, dude.
I know when they were filming, I was at my dad's for dinner, and he had a friend there, and he did lighting, and he said like they did an outside of one of the buildings, all this neon, and then when they had to change things over, and they were like, well, we need to change it, and he was like, well, I just designed all this stuff and I put it on there. And they're like, cost isn't an issue. It's like it needs to be done. So he's like, they just wrote checks out. I was actually, it was Real Steel. I was in the same studio for Real Steel, yeah. And there's a Target it was literally right behind where this was at. And this guy comes in, and he's like, all right, Target is all out of light bulbs. And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah. He's like, I bought every light bulb in the store.
What?
They needed light bulbs or something. And he went and bought every light bulb. That was in Target.
Wow. That's commitment.
Luckily, like, again, our area, it's not like there's one Target. Like, you can Target, Walmart, Meijer, they're all over. But yeah. I was like, I'm just sitting there, I'm working on the machine. I'm like, how many fucking light bulbs? Why do you need that many light bulbs? But they need them for some reason.
I don't even know what they would have used them for.
All right, so as let's kind of that's what happens.
Yeah, dude, I'm at duty. If you ever watch World Makers Consortium Friday nights, man, we're like tangent fest. Like,
oh, I mean, seriously, I do a show Monday. I do Monday Night Toy Ramblings. People know it's my job to always get ourselves back on track here. Cooter's Garage jumping in here. All right, so as you're getting older, it sounds like you're getting in a profession. Um, when did you meet your soon to be wife? Right? I don't know if you guys are married or not,
I
but
would have been probably like near probably I don't know, right at the beginning of like my culinary career after I was like had committed to it. So we
okay,
were. Do you guys have like Kelsey's or like I guess the equivalent would be like the Outback Steakhouse or something like that,
okay,
or like a Roadhouse. So, anyways, I met her working there, and then it was actually her friend that was trying. Like, she had the worst pickup lines, so her friend was trying to pick me up. So we were talking out back, and I'm wearing a Pennywise shirt, and one of her pickup lines is like, "Oh, you like Pennywise? Not many people like Pennywise." Blah blah blah. Something about coming over and listening to some album. And I'm like, dude, like everybody likes Pennywise. Like, I'm not like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like she was just like playing it off like I was like this like cool original punk dude, but then she was like trying to invite me over to her place. I was like, I knew it was kind of like a pickup attempt, but it was like I was just kind of like oblivious back then. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where
oh, plenty of
you're like, shit, that chick like actually really liked me, and I like,
time.
oh, but no, I just gravitated more towards like the my wife that I'm married to now because we just had a lot in common, and yeah, we've been together like 15 years or more. Well, a little over 15 years, like not including the time we've been married. And I've never, ever, ever had a fight with her. Like not even once. We haven't even raised our voices to each other. Like, obviously if you live with somebody, they do little annoying things that you don't like. But I honestly credit that to is we've always had separate bank accounts. Like
Okay.
we've never had a joint account, and I think that's where most couples like start to fight is over. Well, you took $40 out for this, and I took 80, and you took this, and you took that, blah blah blah. So we just kind of have like that agreement where you pay this shit, I pay this shit, and we just have separate accounts, and it's all good.
I was trying to figure this out, but now he said I'm definitely not into the It franchise.
Oh, dude, gross. I've like probably I've said this a million times. I fucking hate clowns. They're the grossest things ever.
Well, so Pennywise is a punk band.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if Michael Gutierrez no, it's a punk band. Now they do have a song called Pennywise
yeah,
about the clown.
yeah.
I've never seen it.
Not into it,
I'm
dude.
not into
Yeah,
horror movies, though. I mean, I not like I've never seen horror movies, but I've had a lot of people be like, is that about the clown?" I was like, "No, it's a band, but technically it is named after the clown because they have a song called Pennywise about
absolutely.
That's the only reason why I know about that fucking clown, to be honest.
I
Um,
didn't even know. Like when I started listening to Pennywise,
I didn't either.
I didn't know about it, dude. And I like still to this day, I've never seen the original It. I've never seen like my wife loves horror movies, and that's where we watch our own things. I'm a sci-fi, fantasy, military guy. Like that's what I watch. And like, yeah, I can't do horror, man. I hate the
So
Saw movies. I hate the It movies. Like I don't do any of it.
so I'll say that I don't know if you're into sports, but if you're into sports, I can guarantee you've heard Bro Hymn before.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so many bands, so many teams play it after they've won. That's that again. They're under. I guess they're technically underground bands, but they're just not radio play. They're
Yeah,
the more popular punk bands of like real punk, not pop punk, anything like that. But I didn't know what it was either. I knew the song, and then someone was like, "That's about it's about the clown Pennywise." And what the fuck's clown Pennywise? I'm like,
yeah.
you know
What
the
is
movie, the Stephen King It. I'm like, I know the name, but I'm like, yeah, that's what it's about. Oh, okay.
one of my exes put the movie on. I'm like, that's John Boy from that fucking old TV show. Like, what's he doing in this movie?
Is he in
Apparently,
it?
yeah,
Is John Boy in it?
he played John Boy's in the movie, but I only watched the point. I think they were at the restaurant, like
I
talking about
couldn't
their trauma. Yeah, and I was like, I can't do this, man.
even.
I don't want to like. The disturbing part is like when he like killed the kid and like ripped him into the sewer. I was like, no, I'm done. That's it. Not watching this movie. I'm out.
Oh, okay. So Michael, he was born in '90. So Viper Scott, he's
Oh,
missing out on '80s, but he's like, I was born in the '90s.
oh
I
yeah,
gotta say, I love showing '90s and '80s movies to my kids, and especially like Clueless. Like
oh
we all watch Clueless, and I love Clueless. I think it's a hilarious movie. I don't care what
yeah.
anyone says. again, we're watching Olivia and I are watching 90210, so you know how bad I am.
Oh yeah.
But when they start asking, like, what's a pager? Like they have no clue what some of the stuff is. And you're like, how do you not know what this is? But why would you? There's no reason for anyone to know
No,
what a pager is.
no, my son like will never know what a VHS tape is or a cassette tape or any of that stuff. And it's funny because he's all about the Switch and Fortnite and all that bull crap. But I bought one of those retro gaming things off Amazon. It was dirt cheap. He is obsessed with like playing like Legend of Zelda, like all the Super Nintendo stuff, like Mario. Like now he's all about this like retro game stick. And I'm like, yeah, man, I had all those when I was a kid, dude.
Yeah, but give him a tube TV with a wire cord to it and
Yeah.
see how long he really wants to play it. All
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Thankfully, it works on his flat screen television. But
You know, but it's a different world. But I like when they can sit down and enjoy that.
yeah,
But anyway, okay, so you meet your wife.
yep,
Now, are you collecting? I know you're obviously playing music. Are
yep.
you still collecting after that?
Yeah, like I always did collect, and then
Okay,
like it's always like, and then I'd take my little breaks or whatever. Life happens, or you're like
yeah.
more focused on music, especially in my like mid to late 20s, early 30s, where like I was in bands and you were trying to like make an impact, right? Like you were still young enough to be able to do it.
Okay, so the MCR says coolest line from Clueless. I have a 45 and a shovel. Nobody is gonna. No one is going to miss you. The reason why that line is so good is because of not only what it's saying, how he says it. Because
Delivery.
you believe that guy would do that.
Oh, that's like that guy we were talking about earlier, that Sam Elliott guy.
Yeah.
I'd buy a Dodge truck off him in a second. Just something about his voice. Like he's always like, and I love cowboy movies, man. Like I love the older ones. I like 310 to Yuma, The Magnificent Seven, like all those. Clint Eastwood, love all those movies. But yeah, man, no, Sam Elliott's like he's an epic country
Well,
legend.
Sam Elliott has one of the greatest lines in We Were Soldiers. Where have you ever seen We Were Soldiers?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That he has the one guy that keeps walking by him. And he says, he always says something about him in the morning. He's like, "Good morning, Sergeant." He's like, "What?" He's like, "How do you know what kind of goddamn morning it is?" Like, if someone says good morning to me, because I'm one of those people at my office. If I go into the office, I don't need to talk to anyone. I'm walking back. I'm going to talk to my boss. I walk by numerous people and never say hi. I'll say hi to the owner, and if someone says hi to me, I don't. If you don't say hi to me, I'm not like, whoa, why is he not saying hi? I don't give a shit. I'm there for a reason. I'm a talker, so if I get talking, it can be bad for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I get it. I can be
but I'm just one of those people, and again, most people know it. But you get newer people that started our office, and they want to say hi, and I'm like, why do you want to say hi to me? Like, you don't know me.
It's Monday morning. Yeah, I got it. Like when I get to work, I like go upstairs. I got to get my coffee, and maybe if somebody's brought in like muffins or something, I just got to have that morning like startup little snack or whatever. So
Michael Gutierrez said, I plan to only collect 3 more figures this year. All 3 of them are Marvel Legends. I plan to have 3 new G.I. Joes before the end of the month.
oh, dude, I've got so many. Like I think the next 2 waves of Classified are supposed to show up in Canada for me on like April 3rd or something. Like Lifeline.
We just got from BBTS that Lifeline, Mole Rat, and I can't think of his name. The camouflage guy. Hit and Run are expected. And Amazon is supposed to have all of them by the end of the month. So I'm assuming they all should be landing in BBTS's doorstep.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't you had to help me out with this guy the other day.
Blowtorch.
I was like, yeah, blowtorch, that's what it is. I never like can remember like the snow guys.
The fact that you came up with who'd you say
what was it? Like Charbroil or
Charbroil. I'm like, how the fuck did you come up? Because Charbroil was a character later on, well after I was, and I'm
Yeah.
like, how did you get that and not blowtorch?
It's probably because of my because like I said, when I got
You're a
into
little bit
banjo, it was
younger.
like the later stuff, right? I wasn't in on like ground one. Like I was too young to be in on like the ground floor or whatever. But yeah, it was just kind of funny. I was like, oh, what the hell is this guy's name? And it always happens live. And I'm sure you've gone through it too, where you're like, what is that? And it's like, shit.
Or I'm sorry, Viper Scott
Okay.
is right. War crimes. That is his real name. I know that I know that's been our running joke, him and I, but I know we say it all the time. Like he's technically war crime. Like,
Oh, dude, I made a kit bash with the road pig head and the desert slaughter body with the parachute guy's helmet, and he looks so goofy, man. I call him special corporal doofy or something like that. And I've got it. He's right here, dude. He's like the goofiest looking like custom. Oh. Yeah, he's like the mindless grunt, right? He's like door just firing everywhere. But
Well,
yeah.
I put on Maximum Deadpool. I put one of the helmets from the Operation Monster Force,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just like, it fits because Deadpool doesn't need a helmet,
No.
but you could see him being so stupid. He just puts the helmet on, and like I put a little short out, and I posted the pictures on Instagram, and a bunch of people made comments about it. Like, dude, that works. I'm like, it just it's so stupid because he has no reason to have a helmet, but you could see him the type being like, all right, I got my helmet on. Let's go.
Oh, dude, I just had one of those like I don't even know how it happened. It was those idiot mistakes or like happy mistakes on Instagram. So I like post stuff like a couple hundred views or whatever. I posted this like half-ass promo for Toy Mercs, just walking through my Marvel Legends setup.
Yep.
Dude, I got like 1,000 followers in like 2 days. Like it just went like, and no hashtags or anything. It just caught the algorithm and like went to town. And I was like, yeah, I
On
can't even do that
Instagram.
on, yeah, I can't even do that on purpose. Like it was just insane. Like I think it's up to like 1,200 shares or something. Like it's just insane, like
Holy
nuts.
shit.
But like I can't do that again. I can't even like I when I try to do that, it doesn't happen. And then I, just half-assed, whatever, toy marks tonight, no hashtags, no anything, and the thing blows up. I'm like, I
I
give
gotta
up.
say, I gotta say the funniest thing about my Instagram, and I've struggled to. I mean, I have I'm closing in on 1,800 like followers on Instagram, so it's not like I don't have anyone,
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I mean, compared to growing on YouTube has been way easier. But
Oh
ever
yeah.
since
Yeah.
ever since I bought the blue check mark,
Okay.
I feel like they have nerfed me with the way they push it out. And before anyone says, why would you buy a blue check mark? It is because if you get copyright strikes, they're supposed to give you
Right.
more. And again, this is kind of like I'm trying to make this as not professional as possible, but I use this as a tool for what I'm growing in YouTube and Instagram.
Yep.
And I've gotten the copyright strikes before from some asshole. So I was like, I talked to random diorama about it, Radnom,
Yeah.
and he was like, he goes, it's like, I think $10 a month or something. And as much as I don't want to pay for it, I was like, I don't need to be verified, but it's like
Yeah.
when you look at all the stuff and you're like, I invest a lot into this channel and everything, and I don't want to lose that Instagram again. That's why I have a second. I don't have a second Instagram because I'm like, I'm so popular. I need to. It's because I was forced to do it.
Well,
So
it's like I got YouTube Premium, and I was like, I'll never go back to regular YouTube, man. I watch YouTube at work where I don't
God,
have an account. And dude, it's like every 10 seconds there's a commercial. I'm like, how do people survive watching YouTube without a
so
premium? Oh my
my other moderator Matthew always said you need YouTube Premium. I'm like, I don't need YouTube Premium, whatever. I'm fine. I grew up on commercials. Like I don't have the premium Disney Plus. We still get commercials.
me too.
So like we still see commercials when we're watching. It doesn't bother me. And then I want to say it was during the election. Was it during the election? No, I take that back. That was my boss. I want to say it was like November, maybe. It was like $1 for the first month. And I'm like, you know what the hell? I'll try it. It took me about 12 hours before I said, if I have to cancel every other subscription, I will cancel them all before I go back to just plain old YouTube.
Yeah,
Because
dude.
you don't realize, and at that first couple of days, especially like that first 24 hours,
Yep.
you're so used to a commercial being at the beginning of the next video that you're going into. And I watch a lot of like unsolved mysteries and
I
like
watched that
cold
too.
cases and shit. So
Yep.
like you'd always see something, and I was like, oh my god, dude, there's no commercials. Like there's nothing.
Yeah,
It is
nothing.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just got annoyed that it was happening so often because I watch YouTube on my television a lot. That's why I like, I'll watch you or Dom or whoever, but I don't know how to comment on the TV, so I am watching. But like when I didn't have the YouTube Premium, it got so freaking annoying. Like I had them in every 20, like every couple minutes or something. You're watching a long video and it's like the same crap over and over and over again. It's just like, oh my god, stop.
When you're watching like I watch like you know what I mean, again, the YouTube rabbit hole is real. So I'll move on to like I'll pick up like mobsters. The next thing you know, you're watching 3 hours of mobsters or 3 days of mobsters. I've been watching this guy Simon. He just travels places. I find it so fucking interesting. He goes by himself. He just travels.
Yeah.
He goes up, decides, hey, this is where I'm going to travel. He has a backpack, and I've been watching all kinds of shit. Then I got stuck on this, like craziest places that people travel, like little hotels at the top of a mountain that you have to climb to get to. I can't imagine like what commercials are shown to the people that
Yeah, like power bars or something, or Gatorade commercials. I don't know.
Yeah,
If you want to climb a mountain, snap into a Gatorade.
So I'll tell you guys right now, if you don't have YouTube Premium, it'll take you 12 to 24 hours before you say, never, I will cancel if I had to cancel every single membership that I have. Well, Prime doesn't count because Prime just if you don't have Amazon Prime, I don't know who doesn't have Amazon Prime, but I'd cancel Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount. Like I'd cancel them all because I watch YouTube more than anything. Like I drive, I just turn something on. Like I don't have to watch. Like you don't have to watch the cold cases stuff.
Oh, I'm always watching YouTube. Like I watch this old, like it's a kind of Canadian British show, but it's got Tony Robinson. He's like this British actor, but it's called Time Team. So they get these archaeologists out, and he's kind of like the moderator of the show. Okay. Cool. They're digging up like old Roman ruins in England and shit like that, or they'll travel around the world, dig crap up. Because I always wanted, like, I was really into dinosaurs as a kid, so I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was like, between like 7 and like 10 kind of thing. Like that was like what I wanted to be. So
if you get Tubi, it's free.
Oh, Tubi is kind of sometimes it can be a stinker, but it's got some good like apocalypse B movies or zombie B movies.
Yeah. I'm just telling anyone, like if you're like, hey, I don't like spending money on, and I understand, once you have YouTube Premium, I'm not making anything from it. It's not like I have a code for YouTube Premium. I wish I did.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
You will. It'll change how you watch stuff because just like Rad said, like you're like, wow, there's a lot of commercials.
Yeah, you don't realize it till it's over. And then it's funny too, because when you get your numbers up on like YouTube and Instagram, then you start getting these like scammer idiots that'll like, hey, we'll give you a code for like our sunglasses or something completely unrelated to your channel.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, we set this up. All you gotta do is send us like $154.95 and we'll you'll make it back on your views and stuff. No. No, like what do sunglasses have to do with like world building? Nothing at all.
I know I've gotten that. Right now I'm getting, God, what? Someone got a hold of my channel and found the email, and now they're emailing me for, God, what is it? They want me to be like, they want to do like a sponsorship deal, and they're just one of those, one of those people. It's for Gouda, which is
what, like the cheese?
No, 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 no. No, that's what I was like, what was it?
I'm a cheddar man myself.
Oh man, I totally forget what it was. I looked at it. Um, it's global marketing here. Yeah, it's like an integrated marketing, multi-channel e-commerce solution. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that really fits in with
Is that even a real word like thing? Just sounds like they
that's
just threw a bunch of words together.
for the most part. For the most part, and I was just like, yeah, no, this, and I just like, they've sent me like 3 different emails. I'm like, all right, well, eventually you'll get the idea that I'm not interested.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for the Nigerian prince to get back to me.
Why did Um, all right, so enough about Gouda and not Gouda cheese.
Enough about cheese. Still here.
um, so you meet your soon to be wife. Now, how many kids do you have?
I've only got the one kid
Okay,
actually, so I'm kind of glad we're doing the one kid thing, but we'll see how it works out.
wait, you're kind of glad you're doing the one kid, or did you?
Yeah, yeah. Like we never really like I don't know because we had kids like later on kind of thing. Like I was like already like going into my 30s.
I didn't want to say nothing, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, yeah. No, we're happy with our life situation and stuff like that. Like it's yeah, I would
so
say yeah, we're just happy.
so
Yeah.
how does she accept your? Because you do more than just collect. You play in a band,
Yep.
and so my old next door neighbor, he was in a band, but he still is in a band.
Yep.
But he's one of those people who, in his 50s, he's still trying to make it. I have a really good friend who has toured the world
Yep.
in a punk band. He still plays in bands, but he's like, this is just a hobby and fun now.
Yeah.
Like that's a young man's game. Like we're not all,
Oh yeah.
we're not all Metallica. We're not all. We're driving in a bus or in a car, hating. He's like, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to just hate the sound of your roommate who's a band member when he breathes. Like you hear that him breathe and you want to beat him.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah. No, I
so
never like
how does your significant other deal with not only your toy collecting but your music, because it's a hobby for you, I'm assuming, right? It's not.
oh absolutely. Like we still like we're quite active gigging and
Yeah,
like I said, we're recording an album and stuff. We got like a little bit of a following, but we had to like
but you don't look at that as
it's
this is
not
going to
no,
pay the bills.
we're not like I'm not leaving my career to jump in a van and drive across the country. There's not a chance. On that age, I always kind of thought if you didn't make it in the music industry by the time you were around 30 years old, you were past the point of
That's
being desirable, right? Like
and
you're
and
very
well,
few bands, like maybe like a band like Godsmack, where they got signed like later in their lives, sort of thing. And I'm not a big Godsmack fan, but that's the only example I can think of, maybe other than some like hardcore metal bands that actually gained traction, like in their 40s, approaching their 50s, kind of thing. And they're probably the oldest guys in those bands. But no, I never had any delusions of like, being a rock star or whatever. Like I tried, like we gave her a go when in our 20s.
which is when you should. That's when
Yeah,
you.
when you should, when it's like you're doing that stuff, and then your family comes along, and like, no, I can't understate how awesome my wife is. Like, she's got a bit of a toy collection. She's into like X-Files and like, so I'll buy her stuff. Like, I gave her the Mythic Legion's Alien dude because she
So
likes she's
that
into
makes it
aliens and stuff.
easier.
Oh,
But that makes it easier for her to understand because she also collects.
yeah. Well, and I think too when I before like this was years ago when I think we just moved in here or something. But one day we just found my old box of Star Wars toys. Like it's all Power of the Force stuff and whatever. And we just like had a great time having a couple drinks, watching a movie. We just like put it all out on the coffee table, like the Rancor and like the ships and all this stuff.
Yep.
And then I think the next day we went into town and that's when the Clone Wars stuff was on the pegs.
Okay.
I started buying Star Wars Clone Wars 3.75 figures like very actively. And then all of a sudden, like it just got into a comfortable space where, next thing I'm collecting all the G.I. Joe 3.75. I'm buying the flag. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And next thing you know, I've got this like crazy toy room where I'm building, and 90% of my collection is like displayed in a like a diorama scenario where it's a world or it's like a setup like that. Like I've got a collection in the back there, Ninja Turtles that are just like, museum display
I,
type on a shelf.
I saw a couple of your videos recently pop up when you were going, and I know we talked about it before. And again, I've been kind of seeing some of the stuff you and Toy Domination have been doing, and I'm not talking about Toy Domination being outside, him building his
Oh, dude,
world
that's
inside
crazy.
his house.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing, and I will say this: when it comes to the world building, you can world build in 1/12 scale, but it is way easier in 1/18 scale.
Oh, way easier. Like, yeah, because I've got so I used to world build like with even Transformers, but I got to a point with Transformers where so this is how it kind of went down. So I got into Mythic Legions. I'm like, okay, something's got to give here. I can't spend all this money on everything. So I broke it down. I sold off all, like I had like 400 Transformers, sold them all off except for the key cast. So I had Prime and like the first season one, season two, all the characters.
Okay.
They live on a shelf now. So I quit collecting that. I quit collecting DC Batman stuff, like the McFarlane stuff. I quit that. And then what else? Oh, and then I sold off all of my Motu Origin stuff.
I
I've
did that
actually
too.
I actually brought it down to there and back again in Flint. So
Okay.
yeah, so I trucked all this shit over the border in totes, brought it all the way down to him, and I was happy with what I got. Got store credit, like spent it all there, like no problem. But yeah, it just kind of evolves. Like even with GI Joe, when Classified came out, I was a little late to the game. I'm still burned by that because I really want Serpentor, but I'm not paying $250 for the guy.
Is that what he is now?
Oh, he's so expensive. So I got in early enough that now I've kind of gained ground and I've got pretty much like everything that I want. But then I sold off all my 3.75 Joe stuff. So I sold my flag to a buddy on payment plans. So he got, because he really wanted one. I was like, fine, I don't care. I don't need the money right away. And then I used to work to do toy shows. So I sold off all my 25th anniversary, all my vintage stuff. And then just to kind of, because I even collected Black Series. I'm like, and I got to a point where I'm like 80 figures in on Black Series. I'm like, why am I collecting like Star Wars figures in two scales? I'm world building with one. These 6-inch guys are just sitting on the shelf. So I sold all those off. And it's about choices, right? Because you run out of room. And I'm like, oh my God, like Classified is like what I was looking for in G.I. Joe. Like 25th was great, good detail and stuff like that. But I departed from that original O-ring kind of thing. It just
Yeah.
wasn't for me, right? I would come down here and there's like 2 inches of dust on the flag and all my GI Joe stuff, and I'm like, this stuff's not bringing me any joy anymore, right? So off it goes, and the next thing you know, I'm world building with Marvel Legends, Mythic Legions, Star Wars is insane in my basement, Classified. Like now I've got a Fallout diorama behind me. Like it gets out of control really fast. So,
No, and I've said that before. Like I actually really am enjoying a lot of the newer O-ring stuff, and I do like picking up. I mean, my goal is to eventually have the whole GI Joe O-ring run, which I never will.
yeah,
But
it's,
if so much of that stuff wasn't my childhood stuff, again, most people know the flag was my original. I
yeah,
know, shocker. There's a flag story.
yeah.
My Terradrome, and I have other like the Tomahawk and certain stuff is like my original. And it brings me back to when my mom was still with me. My mom passed away when I was 13.
Yeah.
If all that stuff wasn't my original stuff, I probably would have sold it all off and moved solely on to Classified.
Yep.
So it has a very personal a personal connection to me. It also makes me still pick up some of the a lot of the O-ring stuff like Delta 17.
Yeah.
I have some of the Operation Recall coming, the Skeletron stuff. So like I'm still picking
Yeah.
some stuff up. I'll look at the Super 7 stuff if I like it, but I won't pre-order anything Super 7 because most of their stuff is shit. So I gotta
Oh,
see it in person and be like, all right, I actually like this character. So
I'm not a fan of the look of the Super 7 stuff in like any scale they do. It's just a little
no,
jerky to
they're
me, but it's just like, whatever. But for
they're dumb.
me, like when I really got the plunge back into collecting, when I, kind of got my life together, I'm like, I've got my place. But that's back like in the 2000s when I bought a moving box full of GI Joe shit on eBay for like $100. Like this is way before like any of it was like really desirable again. But I remember getting this massive box dropped off of my house, like shipped to my house from eBay, and it was like full of figures. It had the headquarters, like, and like at our apartment at the time before we bought the house, we just spread it out on this like all over the floor in the living room. We're just having a great time.
And I think it's great that that you have a significant other that enjoys it. I know my ex, she never collected anything. She had a pretty horrible childhood. So like she didn't understand why I love skateboarding or why I collected stuff. And I wasn't really buying too much stuff, but I still had my collection. And I remember I'd be sitting on the floor when we were together, and I'd go downstairs and I'd bring up the bin of GI Joes, and I'd start going through it, and she'd always yell at me that I couldn't remember shit. And I'm like separating stuff, and she's like, "Do you know what you have?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." She's like, "You can't remember what I told you yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, but this is important." And there was a time I could tell you, like,
Yeah.
And you wonder why I'm single.
Yeah. You got to figure it out, I think.
But I could remember, like, if I had Recondo, like, all right. And I remember Recondo I had his gun, but his backpack was an accessory backpack, right?
Yeah.
Gung Ho, I always used a different, he always had a different gun. So I knew all the figures that I had. When I got back into collecting, I'd pick stuff up on eBay or at a show, at a store. And then I'd be at a store and I'd be like, "Oh shit, I need this," because I've needed it for 10 years. And then I get home and I walk downstairs and I'm like, "Oh shit, I did already buy."
I ended up doing
That's
that
when you end
too.
up with these extras that you're like, "Damn it."
Well, I was buying lots, and then back then too, you could go to a garage sale and some old lady's got a box full of GI Joe and
Yeah.
like, crap. And you're like, "What do you want for the box?" And they're like, "Oh, $20." And I'm like, done. There's no like it just wasn't like as soon as like collecting hit the mainstream, that's when like the prices just got absolutely ridiculous, man. Especially Star Wars, like vintage Star Wars. To me, it's like not a like why the hell would you pay $100 for this lame ass 5 POA figure, right? That's my view, but I get other people are right into it, right? And yeah, you don't want to stomp on other people's shit, but
Yeah, I had picked up I had bought a version 1 swivel arm snake eyes and a version 2 complete.
well,
And I paid, I think, $70 for one, and I want to say I think around 70 for each one, not for
that's
both of
wild.
them. Yeah. So yeah, and then a year or two later was when it started ramping up, and then you started looking at these prices, and you're like, these figures are not going for anything under than $100,
Yeah.
especially in the condition that I have them. And that's when you start going, "Oh shit, I should have bought other stuff." Because then you start looking at other things you need, and you're like, "Oh man, I missed out on this."
I just remember buying lots and lots and lots, and like not even, and I probably like when I finally sold it all, like I probably made a killing because didn't pay much for everything, like especially the OG stuff. But I remember having like not even thinking of it, like straight arm zaps and stuff like through my hands, and I would just throw them into lots when I was selling off my extra stuff, and like having their accessories and like, but just at the time you're not thinking of it,
Yes.
and all of a sudden it explodes, like you said, like with your original like stuff you get rid of or whatever, and it's just like, oh my god, like wow, why is somebody paying $80 for a little machine gun? Like that is insane.
So my flag does have the rear rail.
Oh wow.
It's never come off. So it's never come off. Now, if I ever move that thing again, I will remove it. But and I remember I was just looking. I remember I was looking at some book.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you. I was looking at some book, and it said how rare it is. And I was like, do I have that? And I went back and I looked at the price and I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I did that with my hydrofoil. I was
I
like,
I
I'm
have that.
looking and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I have the lens in mine. And sure enough, I had the lens. I was like, holy God, people are paying over $100 for this stupid little lens.
So I talked about it. Not recently, when my ex and I split up. I was at just been 10 years because I was looking at the picture. A friend of mine from my first job, he's like, "Hey, are you interested in any of this stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the whole thing. How much do you want for it?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh," he was like, "Give me 275." And it had a almost complete whale. And when I mean almost complete, I mean it was missing the two vines on the back, which I got, a complete hydrofoil, a complete um, uh, tactile battle platform, APC complete with the seat belts,
Yeah.
Skyhawk, um, the uh, the boat. I can't think of the orange boat.
Oh,
Devilfish.
yeah.
There was all this stuff in it and some figures, including a version 2 fully complete Snake Eyes, which I had already bought the other one. I sold that one for like $120.
Yep.
I bought all this for 275. Oh, a complete mauler, other than it was missing 2 flaps.
Oh,
We're
wow.
actually missing 1 flap.
Yeah.
And it was in mint condition. And I remember going to get it from him, and I'm like, this is like in perfect condition. He was like, yeah, I think I started. He goes, I think I started getting them right as I got out of toys.
Yeah.
Now, his whole family smoked. There was no
Oh,
smoke smell on it.
really?
His mom had packaged it so well. And the crazy thing is you're looking at the newspapers and you're seeing like what sporting event was happening and everything, what was going on, but there's no smoke smell, which was really shocking.
Yeah.
And his whole family was smokers. I'm like, there's no smoke smell. And I recently went through everything, looking at eBay prices just quickly. And I
Yeah.
didn't go through all the figures that I got. And I'm like, this thing is worth about, at least, just looking at it, $1,500 I could get selling everything if I wanted to sell it all
Yeah.
off. I bought it for 275 10 years ago, which even back then it was a good deal.
Yeah. No, that was a screaming deal. Yeah. Even a decade ago. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough to let stuff go. But I don't know. I got to a point where my rule was if it won't display, it's got to go away. It has to leave.
That is, I think that's a pretty good rule, unless if you're someone who's going to constantly rotate things.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
don't know,
I get it. Yeah.
I don't know how many people do. Like my classified, I won't get rid of. I have retired a few figures, but I know when like Retro Duke came out, I said, well, I'm gonna retire the first Duke,
Yeah.
and I got him. And then I'm looking at the original Duke, and I'm like, man, I really like this figure. I give him a different gun. So he doesn't have his stupid Nerf gun.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I like this figure. I think the only figures I really retired was all of the almost all of the movie figures, and then the first Scarlet, who is awful,
Oh,
and Gung Ho, the first
oh,
Gung
the
Ho.
first Roadblock. I can't stand his gun, man. I think that's
Oh, I don't use his gun. I don't. use
No. I use the minigun or whatever from the other one, but
Yeah, I got more than enough accessory weapons.
yeah. But just I didn't like that whole like where they were testing the waters where it was like let's go super sci-fi.
So Commander Wolf says debating on selling my 3.75 collection from my childhood. Now,
Whoa, be sure, man. I did GI Joe twice. I went.
so
Yeah.
so here is my thing. Depending on how sentimental you are about things, a lot of my stuff from my childhood, and not just because I have the flag. I mean, not everyone had the flag as a kid. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
But it was before my mom passed away. Like, so a lot of that stuff was given, my mom and dad gave that stuff to me. If this was stuff that I bought afterwards, I probably would have sold it off. I probably would have regretted it now, but because I'm really enjoying the O-ring stuff. If you're sentimental about it, man, I wouldn't get rid of it. If you look at whatever you have, because if it's your childhood stuff, if you look at it and you're going, am I going to regret getting rid of this because it means something when I got it? Don't do it. It's there are some things that are worth more than money, unless if you are in a spot where it's like I have to. But I do understand where if you're just like I have no sentimental value to this.
Yeah, and see, for me, like even with my collecting, I'm not.
If the
I'm never.
figures don't fit,
I'm
you
just
must
supposed to
quit.
quit. For me, I was.
Michael, have a great night. I'm glad you're able to jump in here for a bit.
But for me, I was never really attached to like the toy in particular. It was a character or the franchise that I got the attachment from. Like
Yeah,
I'm not like I don't have to have a 85 Duke or whatever, right? Like this classified version is awesome, and my thing is like having the ultimate version of the characters I love, right? Like up here, I've got like a whole collection of like just Optimus Prime, right? Because he was like my favorite Transformer. So it's a whole shelf of just Prime.
yeah, and everyone's sentimental feelings are different.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
am not a sentimental person, but there is something about I walk downstairs to do laundry, and the GI Joe room is this way. The laundry room wraps around.
Yeah,
I look over at it every single time, and I'm like, I have a GI Joe room. This is what
awesome.
again, I had a GI Joe room as a kid, but it was my bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, I mean that it just there is something very sentimental about it. And again, like if that flag, the Terradrome, all that stuff was stuff I bought afterwards, I probably would have jettisoned it. Especially when you know how much you can get it. Even especially start breaking stuff apart.
Yeah, man. That's what happened to me. But okay, I gotta slip off to the bathroom here for like 2 seconds.
Okay. Well, I will play.
Entertain them for a little bit.
I'll play something really quickly here. What do I have here? You know what? Everyone loves the Circle of Jerks, right? Well, so does Skeletor.
Welcome back to Late Night with Mothman. Oh man, we've had such a crazy ride so far with all the amazing guests and shows that we've watched throughout this 36-hour stream. And I want to make sure y'all know we gotta keep donating. We gotta keep getting them numbers up. Skeletor, what are you doing here? Skeletor has come for the circle jerk. Come again? That's the plan. Skeletor, I think you're confused. There's no this is a Late Night with Mothman, so I don't know what you're referring to. Man, Tony's Figs told me I could meet 4 bald men here for a circle jerk. And Skeletor will not leave until he's satisfied. Skeletor, I think you might be confused with the show. It's called Circle of Jerks, and they're not on right now. Then they like do a show like every week or every other week or something. I don't watch it. Fool! I promise you, Skeletor is not confused. Skeletor, I'm trying to tell you there's no circle jerk going on here right now.
I got this. Skeletons. What you're looking for is it's back here in the back, which is
Yes, Skeletor will be satisfied. I don't even know what's happening anymore, guys. So maybe we just kick it back to the 36-hour live stream, and y'all just keep donating money for Toys for Tots. Yeah, Late Night with Mothman, I guess.
Anyway,
I'm just I'm just wiping my awful nose. Nobody wants to see that.
sorry. Commander Wolf, his sentimental value is the only reason why I've kept it as long as I have. And again, like everyone's gonna be a little bit different. And I get it. Not everyone feels the same about certain things that they keep. I am one of those weird guys. I keep so much stuff, and I look at it, go, why do I still have this shit? And then I'll purge stuff. And other stuff I'll never ever get rid of. So again, for me, I couldn't do that. But if it's something like, hey, I need the money or whatever, I get it.
See, I fall into the trap, man. I've built up an entire vintage TMNT collection, and then like minutes after I'm happy with it, I sell it off. I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. Why did I do this? This was the stupidest freaking thing I've ever done.
And there are people that are like, I got rid of my Motu collection, my Motu Origins.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I've sold off. I still have stuff that I need to sell. I hate selling stuff because it becomes a pain in the ass.
Oh, dude,
Um,
like, yeah, I sell it in lots. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'll take a bit of a loss on it. Like these collectors, I think they're gonna get what they paid for stuff, especially modern toys.
yep.
Unless it's rare, like you're smoking something because like the only reason things become rare is because they are not easy to find. That's what, yeah, that's what
Yeah, and
blows me away.
a lot of it also depends on, do you need the money? Like, obviously, I haven't sold off the stuff that I want to get rid of because I don't really need the money. So it's not a priority for me to get rid of. It's just me just kind of like, all right, eventually I got to get rid of this stuff, or I want to get rid of it because I'm never going to see it again. But the hassle of putting it on eBay, or I've already asked people in groups if they want it, and they've all said no. So there's still some Motu stuff that I need to get rid of. But now I
I'll,
have to go through and see, is any of it worth anything?
well,
You
I'll
know?
do that, but I do a lot of like I like to like kind of get just make brighten people's days, right? So I got a buddy's like I've got like a few custom snake men that I 3D printed some heads and did stuff like that. So I'm just gonna send those to a guy and he can have them and I don't care. I don't need any money for them.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have the joy out of it. But I had the worst habit. Like I do classics, Masterverse, and I was doing Origins at the same time. I'm like, what am I doing? Like the classics and the Masterverse are like the better figures. Like, why am I collecting all these like nostalgic Origins figures? Like, and there was a lot of cool figures, man. But to me, I love places like there and back where you can just like, you know what, pull the band-aid off, take it to a guy. He's not going to give you market value. He wants to make money in his store, but it's all gone. He's going to give you like $500 or $700 store credit, whatever it is, and just be done with it. Like when I sold my Transformers, it all went into Mythic Legions. Like Store Horseman probably had me on their like Rolodex. Right? Like, I went ham, dude. And like, if you talk to like, and Zilla's called me out, and it's like not in a bad way, but when I get into a line, I'm like feet first, plug your nose, like you're in, like you're going, and I
we,
do
we
that.
we talked about this. How you're one that, like, yeah, I get tired of a line and I sell it off and then I move on to something else. And there's a guy, a collector. I haven't seen him in a while. Every now and then he'll text me. Um, he gave me some of his childhood GI Joe stuff because he's like, I don't, it's all beat up, but he's like, hey, I know you'll do something with it.
Yeah,
It's stuff that I didn't have. But I've hung out with him and talked to him, and he loves the chase. He hates ordering from BBTS, because he loves going to Target and finding the stuff. And there is still a huge part of me that absolutely loves finding something in a store.
yeah,
There is something special about it. For me, the most aggravating thing about collecting right now is that knowing that you're going to go to a Target or a Walmart and they don't have anything, and it's the time that it takes you to walk all the way to the back to look and be like, God, they have nothing. I know they have nothing, but on that off chance they do, I'm going to do this. Um, that's what I hate. If there was a chance that something was going to be there like it was back in the day, you don't feel so bad about it.
well, and I've been having these like it's getting really irritating. So you pre-order something on Amazon, the release date shows up, and then like some of the classified figures I got in the last wave, it would show up, okay, it's going to be there Wednesday, and then it switches to order received, and then 2 weeks later they cancel your order. I'm like, well, why am I pre-ordering? Like it's starting to happen a lot. Oh, ironically, you ordered it, so Canadian GI Joes are about like classified are about $35. So all of a sudden, oh, this seller doesn't have this, but it's available here for $42. Like it's marked up and it's readily available. And it's like, I think it's some stupid scam that some of the sellers are trying to run on eBay. It's like, or on Amazon. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's getting really bad. Like a lot of people are starting to comment on it. So,
Yeah, I mean, collecting is so different now. And again, I don't collect. I collect because I want it, not because it's what's cool. I'm not always trying. I don't ever try and get whatever the latest cool thing is. I do like to check things out, and originally when I started growing the channel, I was like, I want to review like one of everything. And then you realize like the variety channels don't work, and even a variety of different. Now I'll review pretty much anything because how even if I make like $4 off it, it's like I was gonna open it. I reviewed it. Somebody watched it and hopefully got something out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
The figure was $60. Hell, I made $5 off of it. So, I might as well do that because I reviewed, Maximum Hulk. That one did great. That paid for the figure. Same
Yeah.
with the Red Sonya. Like it does help you out. And that's the way I can turn back and put my money into this collecting, which God knows it's expensive.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I like there is lines though that I would never like purge. Like I'm a Star Wars guy, so like my 3 3/4 Star Wars, they'll be with me, and like my son will have to deal with it when I'm gone. G.I. Joe Classified, I'll never ever get rid of those. Marvel Legends, maybe someday I'll sell them all, but it's a hassle, like you said, of like just purging it. It's just like, God, man, like, yeah. And there's
And
like so much shady crap going on eBay right now. It's just like,
yeah, and if you're buying stuff that you intentionally liked,
yeah,
not just like, hey, this seems like it's a cool thing right now, I want to get it.
yeah,
Then you might be like, all right, like maybe you go all in on Savage Crucibles, and then you realize like, I'm not really into it.
yeah,
Okay, but like if you're buying all the X-Men 97 and you don't know if you like it, that's on you. Like
yeah.
you
Oh,
know
yeah,
you like
absolutely.
X-Men or not. Like if you have 8 different Wolverines, you don't wake up and go, I can't believe I have this many Wolverines. It's like, yeah, because you're the one that bought all the damn shit.
Oh yeah, dude. I've got a shelf even like way back behind me there that's just Wolverine. Like I think there's like every Marvel Legend Wolverine. Like there's some Toy Biz stuff on there. Like I just have like a Wolverine shelf.
Yeah, if you like a character, you're gonna buy. That's why there's so many Optimus Primes and
Yeah.
Sound Waves and all those other ones. I mean,
The
you
thing that
find one character.
burned me out on Hasbro Transformers is like I already felt like I already had like all the ultimate versions of the figures I wanted. And then they re-release like Soundwave and he's like the same, but he's not the same. You know what I mean? So it's like every year you guys do this with Transformers, man. I'm getting burned out on this because you just like sell the old versions at a toy show or something for a bit of a loss. And then you're spending like 30 or $40 on the new version of it. And it's just a vicious cycle. It
I
feels
remember watching Tidarium Hanger.
Oh yeah, dude. I used to watch that channel all the
Yeah,
time.
he was actually he jumped in on Monday actually, like towards the end. He's like, "Hey, just
Okay.
listen here." Um, I used to watch this stuff all the time, and I just remember his videos would be like 21 minutes long, and it'd be, I swear, 17 minutes
Yeah.
of Transformers, knockoff Transformers, and I just remember thinking, "I'm so glad I don't collect Transformers
Yeah.
because." And this was still when there wasn't a lot of GI Joe stuff. Now there's so much GI Joe stuff that I can remember when I first started looking at all the GI Joe stuff that I was buying, like new stuff, and I was like, all right, I can't just keep buying everything because there's too much stuff now.
Well,
Which
yeah.
is
Oh,
nice
yeah.
to have an option. I remember an old friend of mine. I was like, I'm glad I collect GI Joe and not Star Wars because I can't walk through a store and not run into 18 different Star Wars things before I even make it the toy aisle.
Yeah, man. There was like a time there where, especially right before it became like a mainstream like toy collecting thing, where you could go in and they would have decent clearance sales, like and bins, at the Walmart
Yep.
or Toys R Us, and it's like $5 a figure or whatever. Like, but yeah, it became like during the pandemic and stuff. It was just such a vicious
The pandemic changed
change.
everything.
Oh, dude, it was
All
just
that free money that people had. First off, it was the free money that the U.S. government gave. I don't know about Canada.
yeah. We had the
Um,
same thing.
it was you couldn't go out. I mean, you could still do things with people. I hate when people say like we're stuck in our house. Like, no, you are stuck in your house. All right,
Yeah,
you could go for walks with your family. You could go visit. Like, no one was stuck in their house. I hate when people say that. Like, I was going stir crazy. Well,
yeah.
you could go outside. All right.
Yeah, we were never like even in Canada, we were never prisoners. But like, like you could go out and do stuff. But yeah, people that kind of act like they were imprisoned by the government.
Yeah, like no, you weren't. But again, like you couldn't do a lot of things, so you get into this collecting. It
Yep.
was it first off, it took you back to your childhood.
Yep.
Then you found something, and you're able to do stuff in your home. A lot of times with your kids or your family, something different. So it was the greatest thing for collecting. And then when it finally comes to an end, you start to realize that it's a little. Not everyone was invested as you.
Yeah, well,
Right,
I've even seen that now where like this kind of gravitates back to my point where guys aren't going to get what they paid for stuff necessarily, but
I,
there's so many full collections. But I mean, like they've got like who puts an ad on Marketplace? You can have all my Star Wars stuff for $7,000. Like, what bites are you going to get on that? Like, it's all Power of the Force or
all you need is one, though.
yeah,
All you
we
need
need
is
just
that
that
one.
one guy. Yeah,
I see a lot of, again, if you're on Facebook, we've seen a lot of people in the GI Joe Facebook groups that are like, which ones do you think are going to be worth money? And I just remember telling people like, if you are investing for your retirement, stop, because it's not what it is. Now I'm starting to see people lose their minds because the retro Snake Eyes is going for like $250 on cards.
yeah,
And people are losing their mind. Like, why is this one worth so much money? Like, all right, first off, Google first. Do a little research. All right.
yeah.
The reason why those early retro cards, the Storm Shadow, Zartan, Crimson Guard, and Snake Eyes, is because they were the last of those Walmart cards on the shitty card,
Yeah.
and there weren't that many that went out.
Yep. It's
And
scarcity.
I gave one to my moderator, and then I kept the other one that I had. I only saw one other one at Walmart, and it clearly was returned because it was completely destroyed.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's the reason why. And people are like, I'm not going to spend that much money. And it's like, well, don't. But that's the worth of it, because there's not that many that were made, and not that many that stayed in great shape because of how bad the card was.
Well, and I almost quit. Like it got really bad during the pandemic too for people doing the fucking figure swaps with Amazon. Like I would constantly be ordering GI Joe, Marvel Legends, and those stupid sealed boxes where there was no window, and it would always be like a figure swap. I don't even know how many toys I returned because they were swaps. Like it
See,
was crazy.
I never had that, but I was also ordering from BBTS.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it from them.
Yeah, so you're ordering from Hasbro, BBTS, or Amazon right when they first came out. But I remember people talking about like, wow, I'm scared to buy this. And I go, then open it there. And if somebody says anything, you say, hey, I'm buying this figure, but I need to make sure that someone didn't swap it. And if someone swapped it, then you take it up and then say, hey, I was going to buy this,
Yep.
but people have been swapping it. This one is swapped. If
Yep.
you're going to buy it, it doesn't matter if you're opening it right there.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, and it wasn't me personally, but at one point, they had the TVC Black Chrysanthemum from the whatever Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they had a bunch of them at Toys R Us on clearance, and I forget who I was with, but they bought and they had them for $5. So every one he opened, two of them had a Lando in it, and the other one it was just some Lego pieces or something. So somebody took that home, swapped the figure out, and then returned it to Toys R Us, and they just threw it back on the shelf without even checking what was in it. And it was notorious too, because you would go down the Marvel Legend aisle when they didn't have the window, and you'd pick up a box and turn it around, and somebody had like ripped open the back and like taken the Build-A-Figure apart, or just taking the figure right out. Like I picked up two boxes that were like, that's really light. So then the same thing, you turn it around and somebody's ripped the figure out of the back of the package. Like it was nuts.
If I don't mind, I'm not going to shame anyone because they say, I think $25 is too much for an action figure, or I'm not willing to spend it. It's your hard-earned money. And who am I to say, hey, $25 is nothing? I understand that's, well, the price of the figures now are $28 here in the US.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. But if you're someone who is either that cheap or that poor that you're going to go buy a figure and then stick a fucking banana in it and take it back,
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit. I don't, if you're
Absolutely.
watching me right now, I don't, you can unsubscribe. you're a piece of shit human being.
Yeah.
Because someone is going to buy that. And it's going to be awful when it's a kid that's getting it.
Yeah.
And it's their birthday present. And they're super excited to get something. Grandma fucking bought it. And then they open it up and there's some rotted fucking banana or a water bottle inside.
Yeah, or something.
Like, you're just a
stupid,
piece
right?
of shit. Like,
Oh, and there's a couple guys. Well, one guy for sure. I'm not gonna like throw YouTubers' names out there, but he openly will say like, "Oh, hey, this is gonna be an Amazon return, and I'll throw this figure and that figure in there and send it back to Amazon," kind of thing. And he's like, and then openly like tells people that he like uses bubble gum to stick price tags on the bottoms of toys at Walmart and like scan them out for like $2 and stuff like that. Like, dude, fuck off. Like, that's ridiculous.
this is an expensive hobby.
It is.
And again, if you can't, there is no shame in saying, hey, the place that I work, my career, my family life, I can't afford to buy every figure. There is no shame in that.
No.
There's no shame in saying, hey, I just don't think that spending $28 on a figure is worth it. There's no shame in that.
No,
There
absolutely.
is a lot of shame in being a piece of shit that buys a toy, then returns it with some old one. Now, the funniest thing that I have seen recently with the GI Joe is that I've seen some of these figure swaps where they it's a new figure, but they've put an old figure that's actually worth money in it. And I'm like,
I've seen that a couple
you
times
dumb
too.
fuck. Like, you could have just sold that, bought this figure, and actually had some money, but you returned a figure that even in that box is worth more than the figure you bought.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that goes by. I would never like, if somebody's a doctor or something and they want to order $7,000 worth of Joy Toy and show it off on Instagram, I'm not going to hate the guy for it. Like, congratulations. Like, it's great. You can do that.
So Hayati says they aren't poor folks. It's Winona riders. They are addicted to theft and gaming the system. And you know what? You might be correct on some of them. They clearly are. I mean, you clearly have an issue. But again, you're just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And again, like, these are toys.
Yes.
So, and the people that return stuff to Amazon, and all you have to say is, "Oh, it was broken." Then they're not going to resell it anyway. Like, you can just lie about it.
Yeah. Well, if you say it's broken, but I think Amazon, if they send it back, it's all taped back up. I think Amazon just whips it back into regular circulation. Like, okay, put that cable figure back with the rest of the cable figures, and then they send it out again. But Amazon doesn't have they should be checking when people send shit back.
They
Is what
should.
they don't, but they've got that return policy where it's no customer fault, just return it. Like, you can make up the dumbest reason ever and you can just return something.
So I had something coming from Walmart. There's G.I. Joe figure. I forget what wave it was, but I had already gotten it. So I had it, and I had it for like a week or two. And I'm like, I just gotta go return this. I don't want a second one. So I take it in there, and the lady's like, I have to open this up and make sure that it's, because it was the windowless package. She's like, I have to open it up, and I laughed, and I'm like, I love this. And she's like,
Yeah.
I go, I'm an opener. And I go, I don't have anything to worry about because I know that's the figure that's in it. I go, I'm an opener, so it doesn't bother me. But there are collectors that are going to lose their shit when they see that it's open. But she was just double checking to make sure that this is the figure that's on the picture. And I'm like, that's what you really should be doing.
Yeah. When Amazon should be checking better too, and actually flagging people. Like, I had heard they were going to come up with some kind of system if you return shit often enough that they were going to start charging you for a return at least, or a repackaging, or a stocking fee or something. But I don't know. I was kind of pissed off because I got one time I got charged $4 for the return. I'm like, it was already swapped when I got it. But I had gotten so many figure swaps that I was returning a suspicious amount of packages, I guess, right? But it's not my fault.
And they don't know. Like, they don't they're Amazon. They're not a big bad toy store. They're Amazon, so they don't they don't know. But I think the worst is, again, we see Target, they'll just put something back up and you're like, That's not even figure on the box. Like I can look at it. I can see it through the window. Like that's not.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I just
People are whack, man.
yeah, I have no sympathy for those people when someone decides to blast them in the face.
No, no, not at all.
Like you deserve it. So we got way off. We're
Yeah,
trying
always, man, always. But I'm
So-
around tangents.
tell everyone about what your Instagram and what your YouTube channel is. Like, what is that you do with your collecting?
Okay, so my Rad Toyz Galaxy is my main channel, so that's where you can go to check out all my like my world building, and I'll do like 3D printing videos. I'm kind of like all over the place. I don't do a lot of toy reviews because I feel there's a lot of people doing it. They can do it way better than I can, so I'm not gonna jump into that realm or that sphere or whatever. But yeah, I like to do my dioramas. I'll maybe do a step by step, like here's 1, 2, 3 videos of the progress, get it all set up, and either do like kind of a run through and all the recycled items and everything I use to build the setup, and then yeah, but then I do like the World Makers Consortium on Friday nights with like Wentzilla, Famine, Fat Red Foo's on there, Abby Normally, Collector 425. So we got a little crew on there. So we like to show off other people's work. Like that was the whole reason I started the World Makers Consortium, because I wanted to kind of highlight all the little guys, right? Like not everybody's on Instagram, not everybody has lots of
Yeah.
followers. So I wanted to get these like just give everyone kind of their moment in the spotlight, which I don't feel like some YouTube creators are great, like collaborate and stuff like that, but some are very much gatekeepers where they almost get to that level where unless you're at a similar level, they just don't want to deal with you at all, kind of thing.
I know
Oh,
some of them that are.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I'll take a guy with like 100 followers on Instagram who's doing something cool. We'll highlight it. We do roundtables where we just have discussions about world building. Like that's very much the sphere of what we do in the World Makers Consortium. But I'm also involved in like the toy photography community with like Wednesday nights on Toy Mercs at 8:30. Yeah, it's very toy photography oriented and like that kind of stuff, which I don't consider myself a toy photographer at all. I'm very interested in it. I'm getting into it. But no, I just like with Dead Man, I've been like buddies with him for quite a while now, and yeah, I just like doing live streams with my friends. The whole thing that started it was Toy Domination. He had me on there like a few years ago or whatever, and he did this world building thing. And then after I did that, I was like, oh, when's he gonna have me on again? And I waited like a couple weeks, and you don't want to bug somebody like, oh, let me on your show. So then I just got into it. Just was like, hey man, there's world builders. I'm just gonna invite somebody on every week. We're just gonna talk about their shit. They're gonna show it off. A lot of guys do virtual tours of their setup, so we can like comment on it and talk about it as they're doing it. But yeah, man, it's been a hell of a ride. I don't expect to stop it anytime soon, but you know.
But you show off like your displays, and I know when we talked, I know I was on your show quite some time ago.
Yeah.
But when we talked here, and like you change out your displays and you create like a whole world, and you've been showing some of that off, and I love it. Like I used to love when I was a kid when I would go somewhere and someone would have a train set or have the slot cars, and
Yeah.
not because they had the train going, but everything else that was into it. And I didn't really think of world building. I didn't think of like, oh, this is a diorama. I just thought it was so cool. Like you created a city.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the same way. And
yeah.
I think a lot of guys, like I've been watching Toy Domination. I've seen what Fat Trid's done. Some of you guys that are able to mix different worlds, like going from one world, like some of you are just mixing everything together.
Yeah.
Others are like one world is going, so you have like G.I. Joe, and then it goes into the Marvel Legends, then it might go into TMNT.
Yeah.
I think it's so awesome.
Well, it's great too because we like I said, we're not gatekeepers. Like if you want to have a My Little Pony world with Luke Skywalker riding on the back of one of them, like cool, man, that's super interesting. Like our
Yeah.
group, anyway, we love the like all the imagination, the world building. Like there's a guy, Electric Blue Station, where he's got his Marvel Legends mixed in with his 3.75, and they're all in the same like huge world, which is awesome. My some of my world building, like my 3.75, is either very like Fallout inspired or very Star Wars. So, but it's nice to see like, and then Zilla will do stuff like he's got, Space Marines mixed in with stormtroopers and like, yeah, there's all sorts of different takes on it. And I think everybody kind of feeds off each other in that community because you'll have like, hey, somebody's putting this in their station, and then you get like see like everybody's different version of that kind of thing, or like a kind of a spin on it. But yeah, very collaborative. We've had very like maybe one kind of bad apple we had to kind of deal with like back when we first started, but it's probably been one of the most like positive like toy communities that I've been involved with in a very long time.
No, and again, like I mean, I love it. Like it's just seeing, when I started doing reviews just because I had the original O-ring stuff and I was getting the Walmart 4-inch figures, and then the classified. I didn't see anyone comparing. I had no idea about the toy industry, so that's where I started. And then I started like I like doing displays. I've always liked doing displays, even as a kid. And I guess I really didn't realize I'd spend like 6 hours setting something up only to destroy it in 45 minutes playing with it, right? But it was the fun of building, and I didn't know what it was. And then, it's like that kind of display turned into a little bit of 3D printing and a little bit of this and getting other stuff and making it a little bit bigger.
What
Um,
Yeah,
and
what
then it
really
turned
inspired me too was like those old TV commercials when we were kids where they'd show like the Ostriker driving along and then it smashed through a brick wall.
yeah.
Like all that stuff, like this, like as a kid, you're like, oh my god, like this is so cool. Like who built this? Like what is it? Like I want it, kind of thing.
I never thought of that. Like I never
Yeah.
thought of that aspect because I've got into like photography, and I don't think I don't do good photography. Every now and then I get a nice picture, but I give all credit to the iPhone. Like it just did it
Yeah.
right. But learning about photography from like I used to I spend an hour setting something up, and you want to take the whole picture, and Matthew and other guys are like, no, you want to focus in on one thing. I'm like, but what about the figure? What about the guy on 1 foot that I spent 45 minutes getting him balanced properly? And it's like no one cares about that. And you're like, yeah, you're right. That's you start looking at good pictures and you're like, oh yeah, like they don't always show the whole thing. There's
Oh, dude, yeah. Like it's like maybe one out of every 30 pictures I take, like will get a reaction from like because I look to guys like Deadman and Ronan, the guys I work with on Toy Mercs with, because those guys are like top notch photographers. They've been doing it for a long time. And
yeah.
I'm just like very casual with it. I'm like, snap, 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 snap. And then I'll post one. Dead Man's like, dude, like, where'd that come from? That's amazing. I love that picture or something like that. Right. And I'm just like, I'm not trying. You get lucky once in a while. Right. So,
Do you know who Leanne is by any chance?
I don't.
She's overseas and can't think of where she's exactly from. She does amazing photography. Mostly GI Joe, but she does some other stuff. It just does amazing photography. I'm not saying amazing photography for a woman. Amazing photography. Just the way she does the lighting with the computer screen in the back, and the poses. Every now and then, I'll post something and she'll reshare it or she'll comment how good, and I'm just like, it's like the biggest bet.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking reposting this because she does such good. Leanne Hobbs, thank you very much.
Oh,
Like her stuff is it looks so good, and she's not the only one, but it's like I see every time I see something she does. Like she never does anything that's bad. Like Emerald Knight, same way. Like when Emerald Knight like gives me a compliment, dude, I'm like, oh, I need to fucking print this thing up and put this thing in a frame. All right, like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like doing that sometimes too. I'm like, oh, you said that. I gotta like screenshot it so I can save it in the future.
yeah, you have all the pictures and people are like, I said it was okay. I said it was okay. I didn't say it was that great. You're like, no, you commented on it means you love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, tripping with toys. Yeah, she does awesome, and she does like again. It looks so good, and there's again. I'm just pointing out a couple of people that I follow. There are so many very talented photographers, videographers.
100%.
If you take a picture and put it into AI, there is no talent in that, so I will give you no credit for it at all. I'm even more aggravated when I see people are taking the Hasbro shooting the Galaxy, taking his stuff and putting it into an AI doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's
So
even more of a hack job.
Yep. Oh, to take the promotion photos and add like a new background and like AI, the lighting and the stuff like that.
No, I'm talking about like where the figure.
That's so creepy, man.
Thank you. Like
It is.
where the gun turns into a bag of Cheetos, and you're like, whoa.
We had a guy we're doing a challenge coming up in WMC where people are going to create like a jouster and a mount kind of thing. And the one guy was doing AI videos where like the two jousters came together and then like kind of folded into their mouths or something. I'm like, what is that?
I used to follow a guy. I had to unfollow him because I couldn't stand watching and stuff. And I know myself and my two moderators, we have our own chat, obviously.
Yeah.
We'd be sending them back and forth. And finally, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it'd be one thing if you're posting an AI that you told it to do, and you're like, look how bad this one is. That can laugh at. But these people aren't doing that. They're posting it. And again, there are people right now that are either going to watch it on the replay or watching it now going, fuck you, you're an asshole. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Okay. But I'm like, I would rather see a shitty stop motion, but somebody that took the time to try and make a stop motion, because it takes talent, it takes time, than telling an AI, telling Knock Knock to animate this.
Yeah, fair enough.
I only know Knock Knock because that's what Tony's Figs will use, and
yeah,
we're like, stop.
Yeah, Knock Knock, that's what it's called. Yeah.
I know there's other ones. And some of it's just so creepy. It makes no sense whatsoever.
It's that uncanny valley where it's like not quite real, but it's like just weird. It's off-putting.
Yeah, and there is a place for AI. There is a place for AI for certain things. But at times I say it, I feel like I'm the only person that saw Terminator. Like I might be the only one that knows how this fucking, and again, I won't talk politics, but I've heard a lot of people say like some of these fake AIs that are doing, they're making it look like athletes and actors are saying something that they're not. They're making politicians say stuff that they're not. Listen, there's more than enough reason to like people, to dislike people. You don't have to make shit up. And it's getting to the point where you're like, how do I know if this is real or not? Like cute puppy videos.
Yeah,
some of them are fucking AI. Like, oh, you just ruined it for me.
Yeah, so that's where it's gonna be like really tricky when you get to the point where you can't tell the difference between that and like a real video, and they can just basically make anybody say anything they want on Earth. Like that's a real danger to me. I feel
it is because that's gonna affect you and I.
Yeah,
especially being, again, I'm a very boisterous person.
Yeah,
and someone wants to say, well, you know what? Let's make Punk say something that he didn't say, so people dislike him.
Yeah,
and you're like, well,
yeah.
Go scroll through my stuff. Tell me where I said that. I never said that.
Yeah, it's gonna. Well, hopefully, it gets to the point where there's like some safeguards there. Maybe there's a like a program or a filter you can run it through, and it's like, oh no, this is AI. Like this isn't a real video kind of thing. So,
well, I mean, what happens when someone creates an AI that a team from Canada finally wins the Stanley Cup again?
Nobody would believe. No one would believe that ever.
Well, they won't believe it if it's a maple leaf. Like to be like, wait a minute.
I'm not a Leafs fan.
64, dude.
Yeah. It's not happening again in my lifetime. I'm sure of
that. Yeah. I live in Detroit, so I watch the Detroit Lions, and
over there.
Sorry about that.
Blow. I'm not much of a hockey fan, so it doesn't matter to me.
Let's just say this. I will reiterate it. Since the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup, both their basketball team and baseball team have won championships. Now, before anyone says, hey, the last time Toronto won a World Series, it was in '94. It was after the Canadians won it. I'm just saying it.
Well, I do believe the Blue Jays won the World Series back to back there back in the 90s.
Yes, in '93 and '94. but they won it after. They won it the same year as the Canadians, but it was after.
Yes. Yeah,
And then
that's
they fucked up this year.
yeah.
They had a
Yeah.
chance to knock off the
Yeah.
crappy ass fucking Dodgers.
I couldn't do it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
tell everyone where they can find you. You've given me 3 hours of your time, and I
Yeah. Fair enough.
appreciate it more than I. And again, I could keep going on. I
Okay.
I like talking to you because we can go off on a tangent. And
Yeah, like it was like yeah, like likewise, like thanks for having me on tonight. But you guys can find me on YouTube under Rad Toyz Galaxy. That's got like kind of that's the hub to get to my other YouTube projects. Also on Instagram, also Rad Toyz Galaxy. Got a lot of stuff going on there. I do custom 3D printing, so if you want to need something done, reach out, make a deal, whatever. I'm very reasonable. Other than that, yeah, if you're a world builder out there, just reach out. Like it's hard, it's impossible to get everybody on, like to find everybody for the show. But yeah, I always tell people if they want to reach out, show off their world, just yeah, find me on Instagram, hit me up, and yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Rad Toyz Galaxy. No OnlyFans, I apologize.
And I do have both Instagram and YouTube in the description, so you can go there, check it out. Make sure you subscribe to both. Again, you do some awesome stuff, and more than that, like I really enjoyed the time that we spent at Sergeant Red's and going to dinner, because we really didn't get to talk too much at Joe Fest.
No, it was so busy. Like, and then you want to like spend time with so many people. Like, I had a group of like,
yeah,
I was meeting people there that it was nuts. It was awesome.
I mean, it was great to go down to Sergeant Red's, and I remember that was the first time John gave me the key, and he said, he told me
the blue guy. I always think of that lizard dude, that blue lizard dude. Every time I walk past him on my shelf, I'm like, yeah. That always reminds me of you. You're the blue lizard.
John gave me the keys, and he said,
yeah.
"Go get the keys."
Yeah,
you were like trying to decide, and he was just like, "Go get this." Like,
and that was fun, man. That's what I was there for, man. That's exactly what I was there for. Like, I wanted to spend a bunch of money. I was on vacation, so it was awesome, dude.
Well, that's what you said. I have this much, and I wanted to go home with nothing. And again, you can buy a lot of stuff at Joe Fest, but you're not gonna. Again, you can find some Motu stuff, but for the most part, you're not gonna find great deals on Motu stuff at Joe Fest.
Oh, dude, I did so much army building at Joe Fest, like Alley Vipers for $10 and stuff. Like, no brainer, man.
If you want to army build, again, I like to army build, but I don't go crazy like Woody 222 and some of these other guys.
Dude, yeah, there's some impressive armies out there,
and it's great. I know there are people that get mad and say that's why I can't find any. And it's like, hey, they have adult money. They're spending their own money. Yeah. And this is what they want to spend.
Sure, you can find one somewhere. Don't worry. Like,
yeah, there's not too many classified that are that hard to get.
No, except for Serpentor. If anybody wants to cut me a deal on Serpentor, reach out to you. I will pay you 150 Canadian dollars, which is like $375 American.
Well, Rad, I want to say thank you very much. And thank you so much for saying, hey, it's cool that we can push it back. 2 weeks, because I had already had Rob Conway scheduled from Skeletron. So, it worked out for both of us, and it gave me a week off, which I definitely needed at that time.
So. Yeah, sometimes too, man. Sometimes you just need to step back for a bit.
And you guys will be live tomorrow, correct?
Yes, absolutely. We got Jason Jensen on there who does like amazing train sets, amazing sci-fi building. I'm gonna make him give us a tour of his entire basement. So,
and that's on your channel, right? Red Get.
All right. Yeah, Rad Toyz Galaxy, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night.
All right. Brad, thank you so much. Everyone else, check him out, and you guys know where you can find me next week. So everyone have a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you later.